Sunny, and we welcome you. I'm Jim Donovan, along with Hall of Fame running back Larry Zonka, welcoming him to the NBC broadcast team. And what a great game for your first one, Larry.
Hey, Jim, great seat right on the 50-yard line, free ticket. Fabulous football game about to be played. Come on, folks, what else is there?
Okay, what about the Cincinnati Bengals? Are they for real? They're 3-0, and largely due to this guy. Boomer Esiason last week against the Steelers threw a big touchdown pass here. He has 9 on the season so far, the best in the business, Larry.
Well, we met with him yesterday at practice, and I'll tell you what, he said he feels that Boomer Esiason and the Cincinnati Bengals are exactly where they should be, 3-0. However, he does feel there's a few doubting Donnas among the fans, if not some of the team members. He also feels that this game will provide the turning point for the confidence that may well carry them to a championship this year.
Confidence is no problem for the Cleveland Browns. Have been here before. They've won the division 3 years in a row. Quarterback could be a problem. Mike Pagel watched the opening game of the season in street clothes on the sidelines in Kansas City, but because of injuries, now he's the guy.
What a storybook situation this young man's life's been the last 3 weeks. From the sidelines and plain clothes to throwing the big pass right here. He's turned it around. The question is today, does he have the confidence to utilize all the weapons? Will he go deep, or will he play it conservative, using the running backs of the Browns and perhaps dinking and dunking a short pass?
Ready to go on the sideline, and he will get first crack here on this Sunday afternoon as he talks with veteran quarterback Don Strock, who's been brought in because of all of those Browns injuries. Bernie Kosar and Gary Danielson down. Don Strock's been brought in. He's the backup for Pagel as he buttons up and is ready to go. Mike Pagel won last week on Monday night against the Indianapolis Colts, and now he gets the crack in the AFC Central Division today against the Cincinnati Bengals. An amazing story. They never felt they would have to go this deep into the quarterback depth chart so early in the season. But the injuries, Kosar in the opener, Danielson in the second game against the Jets, and now Mike Pagel.
Constitutes a real brain trust of quarterbacking there on the sidelines for the Browns, doesn't it?
Jim Breach ready to go for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Browns will receive the Breach kickoff. This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. And the Battle of Ohio is underway. Glenn Young of the Browns, 3 yards deep in his end zone, puts the knee down, and the Browns will start 1st and 10 in their own 20 on a touchback. So you can see Breach is pumped up and gets the handshake on the sideline because he's not known for kicking the ball through the end zone. Pagel, Byner, and Mack, big roles today with the running game. Langhorne, Slaughter, and Newsome. The offensive line, which has come under some criticism, played very well on Monday night. Watch for Greg Riccozzi getting the start at center. He took the job away from longtime veteran Mike Babb. Babb was traded off to the New England Patriots, and this man runs the show. Mike Pagel, 1st and 10. Mack and Byner in the backfield. Newsome in a slot 82 in motion. Kevin Mack bangs at the 20 and not much there as he tried to go over the right side. Bengals with team tackling. Tim Crumry, the nose tackle, is in there. Joe Kelly, the inside linebacker, number 58. And we take a look at their offensive or their defensive starting lineup. The front three, Crumry, an all-pro. The linebackers, very good so far this year. Kelly's been exceptional, and the longtime veteran Reggie Williams. But as good as the linebackers have been, the secondary's been the key. Eric Thomas pulled the game out for them in Pittsburgh last week as he came up with the interception with just over a minute to go. And Bobby Brister to hang on for a 17-12 win. 2nd down, 10, no gain for Mack. He'll try it again. The sweep, the read, and even less this time as he tried to get to the outside. Look at the Bengal defense and their crowd reacting. It's Joe Kelly, and Larry, he is ready to play here today.
This entire Bengals unit's ready to play. They're jumping up and down. It looks more like the beginning of a college game than a pro game.
So now the Bengals defense, as Kelly checks out, has the Browns offense exactly where they want them. 3rd down and long, 3rd and 10, 2 running plays, no gain so far for the Cleveland running attack. 6 defensive backs in. Pagel out of a shotgun for the first time, and this is unique for him. Kosar and Danielson did not run out of the shotgun. They installed it for Pagel. Better sight lines for him. Incomplete, intended for Brian Brennan, and a late flag down at the 20-yard line. We'll check out the call. Your referee today is Jerry Markbright. The back judge threw the flag. Here it is. Waiting for the call as Pagel looks on too. And it's against Cincinnati as the Browns applaud. Holding carries with it an automatic first down and a big break for the Browns offense, Larry, because they were gone nowhere.
Absolutely. Bengals have more or less stymied them completely.
Holding number 53, defense, automatic first down.
I'll tell you something there, though, to watch for. Pagel stood up in that pocket, hung in there tight, and then threw it deep. That shows me something about the young man. He's going to hang tough as we watch the replay of that. Pretty uninfluenced by the rush and let fly. That's what the Browns wanted to stay away from. They wanted to dominate with their running game, but it's been stymied so far.
They get the first down. The penalty call was on Leo Barker, the inside linebacker. That's Byner in motion. And again, they try it to Mack, and for the first time, they'll get a couple of yards out over the 25 to the 27-yard line. Crumry, the nose tackle, in on the tackle for the Bengals. And also helping out was Skip McClendon.
The Browns talked about this yesterday when we were over at their practice. They talked about how they'd like to dominate the game with their backs early, make it a physical game, and more or less beat down that Bengals defense.
86, Brian Brennan checks in as a wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. Bernie Kosar, Don Straught charting the plays on the sideline, and yes, they do have some influence on what the game plan is going to be for Mike Pagel. Gain of 2 for Mack in the last play, 2nd and 8 of the Cleveland 27. It's been all Mack. He'll try and bounce to the outside. Loose ball, Bengals ball, picked up. Phillips going in, touchdown. Defense has been stripping the ball away, and here it is again. Kevin Mack will cough it up.
Got the ball, and he hits up in there tough. He pulls away. He gets the ball out away from his body and literally causes the fumble himself. This is something that's been giving the Browns fits. On the other hand, it's something that the Bengals have been capitalizing on.
Lewis Phillips went on his way 25 yards for the touchdown as you watch Jim Breach put it through. And the Bengals get a big play on defense as they jump out in this Battle of Ohio over the Browns. 7-0. Cleveland gets it back when we return.
Lucky shot, yeah, right. Watch this next one. I'm going to even open my eyes.
Great.
Why don't you join Mazda's Frequent Flyer Club and fly away in a Mazda RX-7 convertible?
Fly away. As Mike Pagel turns and hands this ball to Kevin Mack. He wants to run inside. He wants to have this offensive line blow him off. That was the game plan. But as you can see, the Bengals defensive line has other plans. They jam him up swarming. When he gives that stiff arm and goes to pull away from McClendon there, the ball comes loose. The ball was not hit. It just came loose on him. And that's something that's really going to shake this young man up, particularly this early in this football game.
Lewis Phillips actually officially goes 26 yards into the end zone for the touchdown. 7-0 Cincinnati. Jim Donovan, Larry Zonka at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Short kickoff this time, and it's picked up by Herman Fontenot. And they almost stripped the ball away again short of the 25-yard line.
Again, he's got the ball loose out away from his body. These Browns ball carriers are going to have to start minding their business and get concentrating on holding that football. Bengals defense has just been, the last few games, or the first 3 games of this season, have literally capitalized on turnovers. I believe last week they had 6 turnovers.
And actually forced 7 fumbles in the game, recovered 4 of them against the Steelers. An 11-yard return by Herman Fontenot. The Browns have it, 1st and 10, trailing 7-0 as they coughed it up on their first possession. Mike Pagel right into his eyes here at Riverfront Stadium on a sunny day. Oh, and they almost lost and jiggled on that handoff as it's Ernest Byner for the first time today. Byner over the right side out to the 29-yard line. Tim Crumry is in on the tackle. Byner is off to a slow start this year as far as his running game is concerned.
So a little change in strategy there. They were giving the ball to Mack, using Byner as the lead blocker. They've just inverted that order. Now sending Mack in there to be the lead blocker. They don't like to lead block with him because he has a bruise on the back of his neck. And when he puts his head up, goes into those blockers, they're afraid of a more serious injury occurring.
Pass rusher Jason Buck, number 99, is in at right defensive end for the Bengals. 2nd down, 6. A gain of 4 for Byner. Ozzie Newsome in motion. Here's Mack, and they just are stopping him cold right at the line of scrimmage, short of the 30-yard line. The Bengals defense up the middle, giving nothing. Crumry in on the tackle again with Reggie Williams and Skip McClendon.
Brown's offensive plan was to hammer it out, run up through the middle. They're not coming off of it yet, but this Bengals defense, as you watch, they're coming right up in there. Crumry plays off the block, and then a linebacker comes in and helps out. It appears that they're just not going to give up anything inside.
But now they're very predictable. 3rd down, 5. You know the pass is coming up. 6 defensive backs in there, and they have to start out of the shotgun. 11 minutes to go. First quarter. On 3rd down. Caught and dropped by Herman Fontenot out over the 35-yard line. The incompleted pass means that the Browns will get their first look at Max Rudiger, who was brought in earlier this week, replacing Lee Johnson. The Bengal crowd cheering for their defense as they come off.
The only positive thing about this play, as you can see, Mike Pagel stood in there, had time, plenty of time, threw the ball correctly. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just a drop ball.
Would have had the first down if he had been able to hold on. Rudiger in to punt it away. Eddie Brown is deep for Cincinnati. Rudiger was brought in on Tuesday to try out for the Browns. Lee Johnson then was waived on Wednesday, and there's a whole story about that. He was picked up by Cincinnati, and yet he doesn't know he's been picked up by Cincinnati. Brown makes the catch and scoots out at the 40-yard line, and Cincinnati has fine field position as he goes over on the Browns sideline. Dave Adolph huddling up the Browns defense and ready to send them out. We'll get a look at Boomer Esiason and the Bengals offense for the first time today when we return.
You might expect a guy who flies a jet like this to drive a jet like this, the Mazda MX-6 GT. If you also expect it to fly through the wide open spaces, you're right. But you probably don't expect to find all this wide open space inside. I guess that makes it the one sports coupe which flies in the face of convention. The Mazda MX-6 GT, sports coupe the Mazda way.
We save $200 at Radio Shack on a great family computer, the Tandy 1000HX, on sale for $499.
And with this color monitor, the system was still less than $799.
It's IBM PC compatible and comes with easy-to-use DeskMate software.
So the kids can do homework, and I can compose letters or music.
And the $200 savings helps me balance our budget.
The sale price Tandy 1000HX with software only $499. Complete system with color monitor less than $799. Only at Radio Shack.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Suffering a loss. It means more than having a simple possession destroyed. It means suffering the shock and the aftershock that comes with a loss of control. Which is why Allstate always responds so quickly. In fact, faster than most everyone to help speed your recovery. Both physical and emotional. The Allstate policy for fast, fair claims. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
At Riverfront Stadium, we check in Sunday number 4 in the NFL. Around the league, Buffalo jumps out. Jets, Detroit. Boy, those Jets are surprising. New England, Houston, all early returns right now. As you, in the background there, you check the Bengal defense, which accounted for the touchdown. 7-0 on a fumble recovery by Lewis Phillips. picked it up on a Kevin Mack fumble deep in Cleveland territory on the first possession of the game and took it 26 yards for a touchdown. Bengals offense been on the sidelines for the entire game so far. Now they're in there. Watch for McGee, Brown, and Holman. They get the ball a lot because number 7, Boomer Esiason, loves to throw it, and he's been throwing it better than anybody in the NFL so far. 1st and 10. That's Brown in motion. The left-hander looking. Throws. And Brian Washington, number 48, the rookie safety of the Cleveland Browns, comes up to knock the ball away from the tight end, Rodney Holman, out over the 40-yard line. A 10th-round draft choice making the team. What a nice play by Washington. Good timing.
Excellent timing by him, but I'll tell you what, scary thing for the Browns is that the amount of time that Boomer had to stand in there and survey the situation. If that continues, there's going to be points scored.
Bengals out, 2nd down 10. 10:38 remaining. The offensive line is big, and they protect Esiason so well, as Larry just pointed out. From their own 40, one back in the backfield. James Brooks in motion. Esiason going big. He's got Brown, and he's got it at the 20-yard line. Inside the 20, down close to the Cleveland 15, as they picked on Stephen Braggs, who's in there for an injured Frank Benefield.
Talked about getting the ball to Brown today. He's got a man-on-man situation out here, and given the time, he's going to outrun that man. Gets about a 2-yard spread on him. Boomer puts the ball exactly where it had to be, out in front.
Run it up on this.
It's just man-to-man coverage, and he just turns on the speed and runs by the defender.
45-yard pass play. 1st and 10 Bengals at the Cleveland 15. Brooks waiting for the block from the outside. Out at the 11-yard line. Felix Wright drives him out. As out there in the lead block was the right guard, 65, Max Montoya. And look at Wright. James Brooks get into a shoving match, and a flag is thrown on Felix Wright. And that's just what Cleveland doesn't need right now, as they come apart from the seams a little bit. They've been hit with a haymaker here in Cincinnati early.
Well, they've got to get themselves together and regroup here. You start losing control of yourself and you get a penalty like this, particularly in this kind of situation, getting almost double negatives.
Here's the call from Jerry Markbright.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness after the play was over. Number 22, defense, 1st down.
Let's see if we can pick it up. There's Felix Wright. Here it is after the play. Now Brooks and Wright jawing at each other as they come off the sideline. There it is.
Well, it didn't look like it was that bad a roughness to me, but evidently that must constitute it.
But the officials trying to take control of the ball game. Early, 1st and goal from the 5 after the penalty on Wright. Esiason has them set down. Eric Caddis, a tight end in motion. Stanley Wilson on the give. Good play by the inside linebacker, Mike Junkin, to rip down Wilson at the 5-yard line. Very little gain on that play as Junkin makes the stop, helped out by Mike Johnson and Clay Matthews.
Junkin read that very well. You'll see when we come back with the replay here. They had a little misdirection set up here, and then they brought the lineman around in a kind of a trap situation. You see Junkin on the far side of the line there, moving up and making the stop. He wasn't fooled a bit by it. Fine young linebacker for the Browns.
Watch for Cincinnati. They like to throw to their tight end Holman in this type of situation. 2nd down and goal. Pass in motion. Esiason to the back of the end zone. He tried to hit McGee, and there was very good coverage by the Browns secondary on that play. Stephen Braggs comes back and makes a nice play as he knocks the ball away and really had McGee covered very well. There's Esiason now will face 3rd and goal from the 5.
Boomer has the target, throws it close in, but this is just good coverage. Well, the ball looked a little low there. I thought it was closer to his hands than what it was.
Pretty smart to throw it away, though. Get it out of there. Would have been devastating for Cincinnati to lose this opportunity. Cleveland had good coverage in the end zone. Big play now. 3rd down and goal from the 5. Play action fake. Up the middle. Didn't get in. Thought about diving in and then try to spin around, and he's wrapped up by Clay Matthews. Hanford Dixon was there also. It's 4th and goal. The crowd says go. 78 eligible, Munoz and Rivers. Here's the Esiason scramble.
Sets in, had good coverage by the Browns, decides to run, and commits his body to it.
4th and goal. Pitch out, trying to get to the outside. And a good defensive stand by the Browns as they knock him out of bounds.
Big turning point for the Browns, key play. They turned the momentum for the entire game with that play.
Stanley Wilson tried to get to the outside and couldn't get there. Eddie Johnson, Mike Johnson, and there you see Mike Johnson, helmetless, going to the Cleveland sideline, and that's a big boost for the Cleveland Browns.
Jim, you got the feeling that the Browns were looking for that they anticipated that play with the flow of the backers on that. As you see, they all come down the line. Well, no one in particular. That was just a swarm defense.
Let me also give credit to number 48, Brian Washington, and that rookie is off to a good start. He made the first hit, then Mike Johnson came in. Now we'll see if number 10, Mike Pagel, can get the Browns offense turned on. Larry, here from the 5-yard line, you take a look at Cleveland's options here. They've been playing it safe so far when they've started from their own 20. You have to think that they'll keep it conservative here, too.
They've got to keep it on the ground, get a little room to work, get that ball out to the 10-yard line or more. The problem here is just what's going through Kevin Mack's head, Ernest Byner's head about handling that ball. They've had so many problems here in the last couple of games, particularly the last 3 games, of losing it. And
now, not that you ever fumbled, but what does go through your mind right now?
Well, you start fighting with yourself. It's you tend to start to concentrate on that, and you don't want to do that, because the more you concentrate on that, the more you think about it, the more likelihood that it's going to happen to you.
Let's recap what happened. Browns took the opening kickoff, stalled, but on 3rd down and long, an incompleted pass seemed to have the Browns punting. Well, Cincinnati was called for defensive holding, giving the Browns an automatic 1st down. From their own 25 then, they handed the ball off to Kevin Mack. He was stripped of the ball by Skip McClendon. Loose ball picked up by Lewis Phillips, who took it 26 yards for a touchdown, and that's where we are 7-0 as you look at Bernie Kosar. A Kosar update on the elbow. He actually started the week throwing a softball about 10 times for about 5 to 10 minutes. But yesterday, he threw 20 passes with a football, each 10 yards. As now he looks and sees what Mike Pagel can do. They're deep on 5, but they'll take it as Cincinnati was knocking on the door. Byner slips through the first creak of sunshine for the Browns running attack all day. He was led by 63 Cody Rison, tackled by the nose tackle Crumry, and David Grant also was in there too.
This is a big series for the Browns. They've got a little momentum. The defense stopped them now. If they can come out and capitalize on this situation, on this drive, move the ball, not necessarily have to score, but get out into positive field position again so that the game begins to be played out between the 40s.
2nd down and 6, just shy of the Cleveland 10. Ryan Brennan, to the bottom of your screen, is the only wide receiver right now. They've got 2 tight ends in. Derek Tennell, 81, Ozzie Newsome, 82. Byner in motion. Kevin Mack plows ahead for about 3 yards. Out to the 13-yard line, and it will be 3rd down and short for Cleveland.
Shows the kind of confidence that Cleveland has in Kevin. They're going to continue to give him the ball and use him as that pounding threat up through the middle, coming up with a 3rd and short situation.
Now, does Tim Crumry, does he ever not make the tackle? That's the situation. He's been in on every play so far. When we look down into the pack, you see 69. There he is. Before the game, Larry, you noticed he was jumping up and down in the tunnel about 5 minutes before kickoff.
Exactly, almost like a college player. Kind of a leader on that defensive unit. With enthusiasm today.
3rd down and 2. Reggie Langhorne, 88, top of the screen. Just a few yards split off the line of scrimmage. Pagel to throw. Ozzie Newsome wide open. 35, 40, out of bounds at the Cleveland 41-yard line. The Wizard of Oz.
Man that came back after last season, not having that good a season, talked with the then offensive coordinator, Lindy Infante, about possibly retiring, feeling as though he didn't play a part in the offense last year. Was assured by Infante that he was going to play a part this year, as you see him run into the 30-yard line and making the big catch there. That was a broken coverage, I believe, is what happened there. But Ozzie's going to be the man they count on.
So the Ozzie streak continues, as you just saw, 131 games in a row now. He has caught a pass, 7:04 left, first quarter. Browns with their first breathing room. That was a 28-yard pass play. Pagel up on top, 1st down. And again, he finds a man wide open over the middle. And again, it's Ozzie Newsome. Inside Cincinnati territory, down to the 41-yard line. And a 1st down for Cleveland. Lewis Phillips Phillips, who scored the Cincinnati touchdown, is in to make the tackle.
Well, it's obvious that they're going to go to Newsome to get that momentum going. He slips out again, almost the same play, same situation, coming open right behind the backers and up in front of that zone coverage with the defensive backs.
Larry, he just doesn't look like he's ever moving all that much, and yet he gets wide open and makes the plays.
Comes off the line very well, burst of speed, then glides and finds the open spot.
1st and 10 Cleveland, 2 consecutive passing plays, Pagel to Newsome. Mike Pagel with a signal, hand on top of the helmet, checking off, line of scrimmage, on 1st down. Overthrows his receivers. Ernest, Byner, and Brian Brennan were in on the pass route down at the 20-yard line of Cincinnati, but Pagel threw it, intended it for Byner, and it's incomplete. 2nd down and 10, still at the 41-yard line of Cincinnati.
I think Pagel did the wise thing there. He threw that ball pretty much away because he had a double coverage situation on Byner down there, and he didn't want to put it up for grabs.
So it was a little crowded there, and he got it out of there, throwing it safely into the Cincinnati sideline. Reggie Langhorne checks in for the Browns. Buffalo on top 10-0. Houston leads New England 7-6. The surprising Jets, maybe they're not a surprise anymore. They lead 3-0. I formation, 2nd down. A little movement, but no flags. As they give it to Mack, and he's got a big hole down to the Cincinnati 30-yard line. Should be a Cleveland 1st down.
Great cutback by Kevin Mack, but an excellent block by Byner. Get the replay on this, and you'll see the block by Byner right here on number 33, that big strong safety, but a great cutback by Kevin Mack. Again, after the initial contact, getting that ball out away from his body.
Now Mike Fulcher, who is 33, might he have been blitzing and they picked him up on that blitz?
You can count on that big fella coming in a lot. 242 pounds of strong safety. He's almost like another linebacker out there.
11 yards for Mack. 1st and 10 Cleveland inside the Cincinnati 30-yard line. Pagel, roll out to Byner. He's got it. Trying to get out of the tackle of Joe Kelly, and did slip out for a couple of extra yards. Down to the Cincinnati 25-yard line. So he'll pick up 5 yards and a pat on the helmet from Webster Slaughter.
Well, that was all Byner after the catch. Wiggle away and get those extra few yards really makes a difference in this territory.
Watch Pagel now take it. All the flow of the play going, and then throws it off to Byner.
Right here, he's at the line of scrimmage, but it's that second effort, not believing that he was tackled, that gets him that extra yardage. Again, that ball out away from his body, though. They're going to have to start keeping that ball in tight.
Same ball now. Langhorne in motion, 88 on 2nd down and 5. Again, a big hole. Kevin Mack through that hole inside the 20. Down at the 17-yard line of Cincinnati. And the Browns can move the sticks again. Another 1st down, as suddenly, Larry, they are finding the running spots after they were shut down completely on their first possession.
Well, you're going to see in that play where the whole workhouse comes from the left to the right. They swing both Williams and Farron. You'll see both the guard and tackle swing around into the middle to lead that power play, but Kevin Mack sees that the hole's plugged from behind, makes the cut outside, and downfield, he's a load, isn't he?
Reggie Williams and David Fulcher on the tackle. Now the crowd becomes a factor, too. And Pagel will have to battle that. 7-0 Bengals. 1st and 10 Browns. At the Cincinnati 17. Tim Manoa in for his first run of the day. The 2nd-year man out of Penn State. A bruising runner. Dives inside the 15-yard line. Down to about the 12.
Old fullback, throwback fullback, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks a lot like an old throwback fullback. Runs with his shoulders down, pulls that ball in tight on his chest, and just says, come on, folks, here I am.
And you know, Larry, he covers the ball very well. If you notice, watch his running style. He really smothers that ball.
He covers it with both hands, but the important thing is that he gets his hands down over the nose of each end of the football and hangs on to it.
This drive started at the 5-yard line after Cincinnati went on 4th and goal, and the Browns defense shut them down. Now, look where Pagel has them. Inside the 15. Again, it's Manoa. Down to the 10-yard line and then pushed back. Carl Zander, 91 on the top of the pack. And Crumry, the nose tackle of the Bengals, on the bottom of the pack.
Zander, one of their fastest linebackers, one of the fastest linebackers in the NFL, as a matter of fact. He'll always be around the ball.
Crumry looking over to the Cincinnati sideline as the defense huddles up. The 11th play of the drive coming up now. Cincinnati making wholesale changes defensively, bringing in a host of players. Here they come.
That's because, as you saw, Crumry bend over and lean on his thigh pads there. He's a little tired because it's been a long, punishing drive.
3rd down and 3. Pagel shotgun as we look right over the center's head
too much overthrown. Good thing here for the Browns fans is you watch Pagel stand in there with good protection. You give him protection like that, he's going to come through for you. And as you see, just a matter of a foot 18 inches overthrown.
Matt Barr will attempt a 28-yard field goal. Barr on the season is 6 for 7. In fact, his first kick of the season was blocked in Kansas City. Since then, he's been letter perfect out of the hold of Mike Pagel. On its way, sails through. Cleveland is on the board. It is 7-3. The Bengals holding on to the lead over the Cleveland Browns, but the Browns drove, and we'll be back with their kickoff right after this.
We're not a company.
But we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge.
We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop.
To perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach.
We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
Nobody likes compromises. Everybody wants a car that does everything. The new Mazda 626 handles all those practical things you expect from any family sedan. But it also knows how to handle roads like these. So if there was ever a car that let you have your cake and eat it too, sure hope you're hungry. Mazda 626, a sophisticated family sedan, the Mazda way.
With every MCI bill, you not only see how much you saved, you get detailed information on every call from every phone. You can even get accounting codes. Anything less, it's just an AT&T bill.
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be.
Oh, hot! Designer sweats, remote control, everything. VP at 28. Whoa! My imported beer, whatever's in this week. When you're done kidding around, Heineken.
The tradition is here. The memories are waiting. Game 6 of the 1986 World Series was a tale of two destinies, an omen of glory for one, an ominous foretelling for the other. Next Saturday, the Mets host the Cardinals, or the Red Sox meet the Indians. The game of the week, only on NBC.
Back at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Matt Barr, after a 27-yard field goal, bangs it away. And the Bengals on the run. Stanford Jennings out over the 20. Loose ball picked up by the Bengals. What a break for them. Jennings fumbled it, and then it skipped loose.
Jennings come out, put his shoulder down, and just started to run over top of people. I didn't see the loose ball, but evidently he must have lost it right before he hit the ground.
So the Bengals get the ball in good field position, and we'll be back to see what Boomer can do right after this.
For 75 years, Liberty Mutual has shown companies like IBM, companies like General Mills, and thousands of others how to make their workers' compensation dollars work harder. As a result, they've made Liberty Mutual the largest insurer of America's working men and women.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I used to put in 5-6 hours of TV a day. Now I can't get near it. My parents always have it. You see, Stanley's giving away these home improvement videotapes when you buy a Stanley tool. So now they're doing a few projects in every room in the house. So what am I supposed to do now?
You can mow the lawn.
Clean your room.
Read a book.
Get a job.
Get a job, yeah.
Get a free home time video. Win a Chevy truck, a $20,000 home improvement, and $1,000 worth of Stanley tools in the Stanley Home Improvement Challenge.
Ask every American the meaning of success, and you won't hear the same answer twice. Whatever your idea of succeeding, Citicorp and Citibank can help. With Citibank MasterCard and Visa cards, Citicorp Savings, Diners Club, and Citicorp Mortgage. We also serve millions of customers in every major marketplace worldwide. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here.
Machine Gun Kelly leads the Buffalo Stampede into Chicago to take on Jim McMahon and the Monsters of the Midway.
Or the NFL's Top Gun Boomer Esiason takes Hollywood by storm when the Bengals battle the LA Raiders.
Before your team takes the field, catch NFL Live, only on NBC.
Can the Bengals do that to the Cleveland Browns Dogs? That's what they're trying to do. 7-3, Bengals lead. Jim Donovan, Larry Zonka, happy to have you along for this Battle of Ohio and battle for first place in the AFC Central Division. Boomer Esiason's 9 touchdown passes so far this season, but his team was shut down on 4th down and goal the last time they had the ball. Pressure from the outside. Throwing it for Brooks. Incomplete at the 30-yard line. Look at the coverage by that linebacker, Mike Johnson, with a very quick back out of the backfield, James Brooks.
See a cool Boomer Esiason set in the pocket. Eventually he gets forced out of the pocket. A lot of time here. Finally rolls out, and on the run he lofts this ball just about 35 yards.
Look at Johnson there, Larry. Brooks with a good stretch, but Mike Johnson picking up Brooks out of the backfield and doing a good job. Brooks and Wilson in the backfield. 2nd down, 10, a minute 57 remaining. First quarter. Here's 48, Brian Washington looking things over. Browns almost jumped off. I think Sims, 99, made contact, and so that will cost him 5.
Gave a little headbutt to the tackle over there, let him know that he was home today.
Jerry Markwright's call.
Encroachment foul. Number 99, defense, 2nd down.
All right, Darrell Sims playing with a cast on his, there you see it, on his thumb. He broke his thumb. And so he's playing with a cast. He's all right, though, and able to play. And he goes into the huddle. Must say, I'm sorry, guys. After the penalty. 2nd down, 5. Browns up in their bare defense. And again, they almost jumped off. And again, it was Sims, but he got back with no contact. Wilson got through the penetration. And he's off and running into Browns territory, stepping out inside the 45-yard line. There was a fine block there to slip him through.
Fine block by Brooks on that. You have to take into consideration that the entire left side of that offensive line sealed off that defense and even stopped the linebackers from coming through. Watch the left side of the Bengals line work down the line, and then Brooks do that little kick out on that force man that sprung Wilson through for the pickup of nearly 12 yards.
14 yards they give him on the play. The ball at the 45-yard line of Cleveland. First and 10.
Benevolent spot by the head linesman there.
He'll take it, the Bengals will. In the backfield, once again, Wilson and Brooks. In motion is Eric Caddis, 84, tight end. This is Brooks. The Browns catch him on the left side. Nose tackle, Bob Golick, 79, out of Notre Dame.
A little extracurricular activity after the play ended there.
I think they're all going to try and tackle the ball here today. And some people, too, as now they are separating. Who's in there barking this time? There's Golick, 79 on your screen, but they're also trying to pull away top dog, Hanford Dixon.
Golick believes that ball belongs to him. He thinks it's his ball that was brought to the party.
Bob playing lighter this year. Larry came into training camp a little lighter. Wants to be in there on passing situations. The Browns have played him on run situations and then taken him out. But he wants more playing time, so he came in lighter and quicker and had an excellent camp and has had a fine start to the season. Minute 15 remaining, first quarter. 2nd down and 8. Hairston trying to get to Esiason. Eddie Brown is wide open and a nice move. Inside the 20, close to the 16-yard line. After he made the catch, Eddie Brown made a gorgeous move to get 6 more yards.
Had he not lost his footing, it would have been even more. He's the man that Boomer likes downfield. And you see Boomer again, pretty good time. He got a little pressure from the outside, forced him up inside. Got hung up, but just as the grasp got a hold of him, let fly. By that time, it was enough time for Eddie Brown to get completely loose in there. And you see right here, when he goes to cut back, he loses his, well, I thought he lost his footing, but evidently he didn't. He turned upfield very well.
27 yards on the pickup.
That was McGee that had that pickup, not Eddie Brown.
16-yard line. 1st and 10. James Brooks on the run, and the Browns shut it down immediately. Big Daddy Carl Hairston Preston in there for the Cleveland tackle as he met Brooks right away. They'll lose a couple on this play, and it will be second down and long as time will run out here in the first quarter. Down to 5, inside 5, and after 1 quarter play, this one will end 7-3 in favor of the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengal defense is on the board. The Browns field goal kicker is there. 7-3 after 1.
This is what American Airlines does better than anyone else. Arrive on time, again and again. In fact, American has the best on-time arrival record of the 9 largest domestic airlines. American Airlines, the on-time machine.
The road is filled with all kinds of surprises and hazards.
Hey!
That's why if you want a smooth, comfortable ride...
Boy, do I need a smooth, comfortable ride.
Get a set of Monroe Gasmatic shocks or struts. They'll give you the best ride ever, guaranteed. They're so good...
Hey, great ride.
They'll even help you handle the curves. No wonder America rides Monroe shocks and struts.
Oh, yeah.
You won't miss one golden moment, because tonight, the Olympics are live and only on NBC.
Welcome back to Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati. Jim Donovan, Larry Zonka along with you, and Sam Weich talking over with Boomer Esiason. What's he saying in there now?
Well, he's got the whole offensive unit around him there. I don't know if that's an emotional speech or a strategy speech. Might be saying, look, guys, the defense is doing a great job for us. We're going to have to get on our horse here.
Well, the Browns wanted to run. They've run better than the Bengals. Bengals have passed better. Total yards and time of possession. Sideline huddle and then out to the line of scrimmage. That's what Boomer's going to do with the Bengals now.
You got Chris Collinsworth in the game now for the first time, I believe.
First time this year. He's been hampered all preseason and through the first 3 weeks of the regular season.
Well, that was a short play for him because he just jogged back off the field. Evidently he changed his mind.
Maybe he was in there for an emotional lift. But he had a leg injury, desperately wanted to play in today's game. And we're sure he will be in there. Second down and 12. Remember, they lost 2 on the last play of the first quarter. So they'll give it back to Brooks. Ryan Washington wraps him up at the 15-yard line. Then is helped out by Sam Clancy, 91 for Cleveland. But I have been very impressed with the play of Brian Washington so far. Stephen Braggs is also there, 36, playing that corner for the injured Frank Benefield. Let's check in on Sunday number 4 around the NFL. Second quarter scores. Buffalo tie in Detroit. And Houston, those are your leaders. Houston leading over New England 14-6. New England won their opening game. They have struggled. Other games underway. Miami leading over Indianapolis. Minnesota jumps out. And Green Bay over Chicago. The Bears racked up with injuries. Third down and 10. Big play for the Browns defense and likewise for the Bengal offense in a 7-3 Cincinnati lead. Good block getting away is Esiason into the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Ira Hillary. Hanford Dixon flew across in front and knocked the ball away. It will be fourth down, and they'll call on number 3, Jim Breach.
Great play by the Browns defense. They forced Boomer out of the pocket here. He had a good deal of time. Had great coverage downfield by the Browns secondary. And Boomer gets forced out of the pocket here. He rolls to his left. As he does this, Chris Collinsworth, it's downfield. He's giving hand signals to Collinsworth on where to go. Looks off at Collinsworth and throws deep and out of the grasp of the wide receiver.
33-yard field goal attempt for Breach. He's 1 for 2 on the season. Schonert holds. Breach's kick is good. The Bengals get on the board with 3 more and have their 7-point lead back as Breach slaps his hands. Look at him. He's a midget compared to Montoya, but he's pretty big right now as he gets him a bigger lead.
This is the new generation of Oz. This is you. This is high. This is Oz. This is not your father's Oldsmobile. This is the new generation of Oz. Oh yeah, this is the new generation
breakers and knocking the doors down for the full tilt taste of Extra Gold Draft. They're treating every can, every bottle, every 12-pack or case they can get their hands on like pure gold. Extra Gold. When a beer that packs this big a taste comes along, you gotta go for it.
Owning a home or a brand new car can be a dream come true. And USFNG can help to protect and cover you. From the mountains ledge to the ocean's edge, we insure you every day. We protect what America's made of. We cover the USA.
Today's game is brought to you by Coors Light. There's no slowing down with a silver bullet. It's the right beer now. By the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer. And by Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, a sellout crowd on a gorgeous sunny afternoon as the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals leading over the three-time defending champions of this division, Cleveland Browns, 10-3 as Jim Breach kicks it away. He just nailed a 34-yard field goal. Glenn Young takes it at his own 5. Here he comes. Suffering down over the 20-yard line and knocked down. The man that got in there to nail him was Ray Horton, and he sent him topsy-turvy. And Glenn Young brings it out to the Cleveland 24-yard line where they begin. Larry, so far, the Browns defense has done a very good job as we watch Glenn Young take it back. Watch the hit by Horton.
Horton's still in this football game. He's wound up, isn't he?
Did you ever play special teams?
On occasion, mostly on the field goal or extra point team. I didn't like that kickoff stuff. I was too slow for that.
That's when it gets a little wild. There's Horton on the sideline after a good hit. Mike Pagel took the Browns on a long drive but couldn't take them into the end zone the last time they had the ball. Langhorne in motion, 88. Kevin Mack. A lot of traffic and not much running around.
Misdirection play, supposed to be an inside trap, and again that Cincinnati defensive line, Boomerang and the rest of them just jammed it up in there.
Skip McClendon in on the tackle. All three of them, as Larry said. Crumry and Scow in there. There's McClendon. He's talking a lot in that defensive huddle. The Browns will come up 2nd down and 9.
They keep stymieing Kevin Mack in the inside like that with their running game, that belly series. They might fake that and go to Byner on something on the outside.
So far, the wide receivers have been catchless here this afternoon for the Browns. Pagel, Byner couldn't hang on at the 30-yard line. Incomplete on the coverage.
See a little talking going on between Byner and Ozzie Newsome there. It appeared that they both ran into each other on that pattern.
Let's go to New York for an NFL Live update. Here's Gail Sirens.
In Houston this afternoon, the Oilers leading New England. Cody Carlson, a short screen pass to Alan Pinkett. He does the rest of the work, fakes out Raymond Claiborne, 51 yards. Houston up on top 14-6 in the second. Back to Jim and Larry in Cincinnati.
3rd down and 9. Mike Pagel looping it long. Incomplete. Webster Slaughter was the intended receiver. Back deep was Ricky Dixon. He's the Bengals' top draft choice out of Oklahoma. And the Browns offense, 3 downs and out as Ricky Dixon comes off to the sideline.
Bengals got it from the shotgun. Again, good time. The offensive line's providing him with good time. He reacted a little too much of that pressure there. He stayed in the pocket a little longer. Simply overthrew Slaughter.
Max Runiger's first punt as a Cleveland Brown came this afternoon, and it was good for 40 yards. Now he's in a little touchy territory, standing back at his 10. Eddie Brown is back, ready to take it for the Bengals. They almost got in. Eric Caddis almost got a hand on that. Fair catch. And the Bengals will take over, and they're on 31. Anthony Blaylock saying, hey, why did I get blocked on that play? That was a fair catch situation. All right, he takes his argument to the sideline.
You wouldn't believe the stuff my dad had to do to get his hands on his dream machine. You name it, he'd do it. I get queasy just thinking about it. Here's my dream machine, the new Cutlass Supreme. And all I had to do to get one was go to my old dealer.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile.
Ignition.
This is the new generation of Olds. Wow.
This year, 24 men and women are going to Seoul, Korea. Going for the gold. Coors Light is proud to be a sponsor of the USA National Men's and Women's Volleyball teams. Proud to be sending our best.
When you need tools, any kind of tools, for every kind of job, one name gives you more good choices than any other. Craftsman.
The tradition is here. The memories are waiting. Game 6 of the 1986 World Series was a tale of two destinies, an omen of glory for one, an ominous foretelling for the other. Next Saturday, the Mets host the Cardinals, or the Red Sox meet the Indians. The game of the week, only on NBC.
He is head coach slash offensive coordinator this year, and he's huddling up with his injured quarterback, Bernie Kosar, talking things over as the Browns' Marty Schottenheimer tries to get his offense going and hopes that his defense can hold on to the reins in this game as Esiason is back to work as his tight end, Rodney Holman. Keep the clock moving, the official says on the sideline, is out to the 34-yard line, driven out by Brian Washington, who has been all over the field so far today. The first catch for Holman, and it will be second down, only a couple of yards on the gain. Second down and 7 with 12.5 to go in the first half.
Brian Washington has been very active in this game, more so in the previous 3 games. I think the Browns' game plan is to get him up and let him blitz, or at least be up on that line of scrimmage very often.
Ickey Woods and James Brooks in the backfield behind Esiason on second down and 7. Eric Caddis in motion. This is the rookie, Ickey Woods. And Mike Junkin pops him over the 35-yard line down to the 37. Junkin playing well here early today. And Big Daddy Carl Hairston getting up a little slowly. In fact, going to need some help, going to need some attention from Browns trainer Bill Tessendorf. Down right there. There you see Hairston going down. And it looks like his right leg or his left ankle, excuse me, as he is down there. So they'll check over Carl Hairston's situation. That's the last thing the Browns need is another injury. Browns trail the Bengals here in Cincinnati 10-3.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence, become a person with a future. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
If you think you can handle the big, bold taste of extra gold draft, hang on. This is the full tilt draft real beer drinkers have been thirsty for. And it looks like they aren't gonna let go. Grab hold of an extra gold. It's the biggest taste that's happened to beer since they put it in cans.
My father drove a Starship, so it's only natural I'd fly around in something space age. My new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, totally redesigned for the future. It's powered by a fuel-injected V6, monitored by an onboard computer. I guess some things were just meant for the next generation.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile.
Ready, Dad?
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
Steady as she goes.
This is the new generation of Olds.
nature of the game.
It was a time when very few Americans had experienced the World Series.
Give me the hand, Tony.
Until we televised our first. And though few will recall our role, Anthony Palermo will never forget the day the World Series came home.
Welcome home, Anthony.
Getting worked on his left foot over on the Browns bench. Boomer Esiason working on the Bengals offense now with 11:35 to go. First half, Bengals lead 10-3 over Cleveland. Third down, 4. Bengals have yet to convert on third down. They're 0 for 2. The catch is made. The question is, well, the catch is not made, as they say he trapped it on the carpet. Hillary slid down at the 40-yard line. Even if he had made the catch, I don't think he had enough for the first down, though.
Now, he bent the pattern back in a little bit, and as a result of that, he was short of the yard marker, short of the first down marker.
So Cleveland's defense does the trick. First punt of the game for the Bengals, Scott Fulcher. Standing back deep, 141 pounds. Gerald the Ice Cube McNeil standing back at his 20-yard line. We always like to check in and see what the Ice Cube is weighing in at.
141 pounds. The man's brave.
We won't say what we're weighing in at for game day today.
Got a flag down.
The Cube takes it at the 10. Oh, did he get ripped down back at the 10-yard line. Stanford Jennings was down there, took Gerald McNeil by the back of the neck and flung him down to the turf, but we have to check out the flag situation. There's Jennings. Cleveland saying that it's against Cincinnati. And we have an injured Bengal down on the field back at the 15-yard line. So the penalty against the Bengals will wipe out a fine special teams play. Eric Caddis, the second-string tight end for Cincinnati, is down on the turf at the 15-yard line, deep in Browns territory, and they are huddling over him to check out the situation.
Illegal formation foul on the kicking team. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Fourth down again.
Kick it over.
Wipes out a good punt by Fulcher.
Absolutely. Great coverage by Stanford Jennings. You know, that's the second time on special teams he's really helped us.
There's the brother combination. Marty is the head coach. Kurt Schottenheimer, there he is with the sunglasses. He's the special teams coach. They came under some fire this week, Kurt Schottenheimer's special teams in the Cleveland area, because they were burned last Monday night by Clarence Verdun of the Indianapolis Colts, who took a punt late in the game and went 73 yards for it, with it for a touchdown. Fulcher has a 53-yard punt wiped out by that penalty, the illegal formation. Big Daddy Carl Hairston, an injured big left toe. He's going to try and check back into the game the next time the Cleveland defense is called upon. Gerald McNeil will get a second chance.
Anthony Munoz landing on his foot the way it appeared in that play. I'm sure he has a severe case of turf toe.
278 pounds coming down on that big toe. Fulcher standing inside his 20. 11-12 to go first half. 10-3 Cincinnati. Cleveland's going to end up with much better field position. McNeil with the ball out over the 30, short of the 35-yard line, but remember, on the first punt, they were stranded back at the 10, so this is a big swap around of 25 yards. Fulcher to the sideline. Cleveland's offense back out on the field. The difference in the game right now is a Cleveland offensive fumble deep in their own territory on their first possession. Kevin Mack fumbled, and it was picked up by Lewis Billups, and he went in for a touchdown. NBC Sports coverage of the games of the 24th Olympiad continues on most of these NBC stations following football. Two Americans are scheduled to step into the ring, Arthur Johnson and Andrew Maillard. For Johnson, his challenge is particularly difficult since he faces a Korean in front of a partisan crowd. Boxing and much more after the game from Seoul, Korea. Pagel to Byner out near the 39-yard line. And the short passing game has been the call so far for Pagel. He's been just dumping the ball off to Byner, and 2 catches by the tight end Ozzie Newsome. And that's been it for the Cleveland passing game.
Well, he's gone deep a couple of times, but on both occasions he's overthrown his wide receivers. So I think he's a little more comfortable with that short game, and it's to the Browns' credit. They're not coming off their game planners yet.
Second down and 5 from the Cleveland 38. High formation in the backfield. 27, along with Leon White, to maybe force Pagel to put that ball out too far away from Byner to make the catch.
He was feeling the pressure when he turned loose of that ball, there's no doubt.
Getting the play now from the sideline with 10:20 remaining. Here in the first half, here's an end zone look at that pass.
He had very good protection. It's just an overthrow again.
Cleveland is 2 for 5 on third down conversions. They've got 3rd and 5 now. Out of the shotgun, Pagel. For Slaughter, incomplete. A long overthrow down at the Cincinnati 30-yard line. Ricky Dixon, the rookie, in on the coverage. David Fulcher was blowing in on a safety blitz, and he does that an awful lot. Pagel over to the Browns sideline. Here's the ISO on Slaughter and Dixon.
Slaughter does a little wiggle coming off the line, gets a step on it. He's out there. Pagel's throw again is overthrown, but he had a face full of blitzing corner before that throw.
So Mike Pagel talking with quarterback coach Mark Trestman there for a second. I think he is echoing what Larry said. He's out there, but they just can't get it to him. Runninger gets hit by the Bengals, and the flag goes down. They will get Leo Barker for running into Runninger, and Runninger, I think, could end up with an Oscar for going down. Some excellent acting, because he looked after Barker hit him and then really went down. Let's watch it now.
Question is here whether it's roughing the kicker or just running into the kicker. There's a big difference in the penalty. As you see, well, from this angle, it appears to hit him a little more. We're getting the replay up on the monitor here in the stadium, and the stadium doesn't have much enthusiasm for that acting job.
There is Max Runninger. Was with the San Francisco 49ers, now with the Cleveland Browns, and is right in the thick of this ball game, and right in the thick of this stadium's intentions to boo him right out of the ballpark after he went down.
Now, roughing the kicker obviously carries a first down penalty with it, automatic first down. Running into the kicker, I think, is just a 5-yard penalty. In this particular situation, I don't think it's going to give them a first down.
Running into the kicker, number 53, defense, 4th down.
Crowd booing. It is 4th down still for the Browns, but 4th down and less than 1. So maybe they want to think this one over.
They might want a measurement.
And that, of course, would afford them an opportunity to talk it over and see if they could go for it. But they have been playing it very close to the vest so far here today. And their running game has been on and off, and I would say mostly off. So 4th down and 1 would be a little tricky for them. If they didn't get it, it would be real tricky. They will not risk it.
That 7-point variance in that score at this point in the game, you don't want to take that kind of chance in negative territory.
So Runninger will go again. It was a very nice little dive he took, though, to end up with the flag.
Get the feeling he's rehearsed that in the mirror?
I think so. Well, he had a little time as he was waiting for another team to give him the call to come back in. Another flag is down on his next punt as he drives this one inside the 5.
Oh, excellent punt.
Takes a roll back to the 9 and is touched by Anthony Blaylock.
A penalty down at the line of scrimmage.
Let's check out this flag situation as you look at Blaylock. The officials talking it over out by center field. Reggie Williams telling the rest of the Bengals, get away, let them talk it over. This one's going against Cleveland, I feel. Well, Runninger will get a real workout here. He'll get another opportunity to do it over. And he had a beautiful punt, a 48-yard punt wiped out. We've had 2 good punts wiped out here today. 53 yards by Fulcher and a 48er by
6 men on the line of scrimmage, offense, 4th down again.
By Runninger, and it's the same penalty that was called on the Bengals the last time they had the ball. 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
The Bengals are very happy about this penalty, though, because that ball had been down somewhere between the 5 and the 8, perhaps the 9-yard line, but it put them deep back in their own territory. We'll have to wait and see how they come out on this one.
Marty Schottenheimer's team has been flagged an awful lot so far this year. More penalties than he wants seen. But it's a very good record in a tough AFC Central Division. That's why the Browns have won it 3 years in a row. And they've been to the AFC Championship game the last 2 years in a row. High punt by Runninger. Eddie Brown. Good punt by Runninger. Roniger as Brown ran out of field inside the 15 at the 13-yard line.
Now
Max Roniger.
Browns gave up about 4 yards on that exchange there.
1st and 10 for the Cincinnati Bengals as Roniger over to the sideline does the job. Sunday number 4 in the NFL. Pittsburgh's on the board up in Buffalo. The Jets lead the Lions. Houston on that big Cody Carlson pass. Miami out in front. And Chicago is rallied to take over Green Bay. Dallas leading. And the Saints ahead at home over Tampa Bay. 48-yard punt by Roniger. No return by Eddie Brown. Inside their own 15-yard line. Ickey Woods slips out of 2 tackles and goes over the 15 out to the 17-yard line. Carl Hairston had him first. He's back in the lineup after injuring his foot on the last series. He had him. Ickey Woods shed that tackle and went out and cut a couple of yards, because if Hairston had been able to make the tackle, Woods would have ended up with no gain.
He would have been lucky to get to the line of scrimmage.
Boomer Esiason and the Bengal offense kept in check so far by the Cleveland defense. They've played well. It's been the Cleveland offense that has not been able to mount much of an attack. One drive that ended in a Matt Barr field goal. 9:10 to go in the half. 10-3 Bengals. And Esiason has them set 2nd and 6. Back to Ickey Woods. First down Bengals. On a good run by Woods. Felix Wright on the tackle. Out to the 26-yard line. He was the top rusher in the nation last year out of Nevada, Las Vegas.
They like this young man. They're going to see to it that he gets the ball. Last week he was carrying in some 3rd down and crucial situations for them, so you can tell that they're going to count on him in the near future.
Sam White says that he's a very quick fullback with a great burst of speed, the kind that they like, as you see him get through.
Right there, most running backs would go down with that, but he had the power and the momentum to carry him through and get that forward progress.
Ickey Woods getting a lot of playing time here early in the first half against the Cleveland Browns in a big game. Carl Hairston is down again for the 2nd time, and you have to wonder, is it the same injury? Remember, he went out with the left foot. His big left toe was fallen on by Anthony Munoz, and now he's just gone down again after trying to get back into the lineup.
I think they have his helmet off. They're working up around his cheek or nose area.
Let's go pennant race watching now. In the American League East, after blowing one in the 9th at Yankee Stadium yesterday, the Red Sox lead. Baltimore over Detroit in the 3rd. Oakland and Milwaukee later on. Incidentally, the Red Sox magic number is 5 to wrap up the American League East. Once again, they are helping Carl Hairston off the field here at Riverfront Stadium. It just hasn't been his day.
No, both plays where he's been injured. On the first one, having Anthony Munoz fall on the back of your heel, we looked at it a little bit in review, and it appeared that Munoz had fallen on the back of his heel, hyperextended on this artificial turf. Is what happens there. Your arch gets hyperextended over backwards, and you get a bad case of the turf toe.
Right over the center, Bruce Kozerski out of Holy Cross. 1st and 10, Cincinnati from their own 26. They'll play the hot hand. Ickey Woods again. Look at him carrying Hanford Dixon, who had an ankle hold on him, and he carries him for a couple of extra yards out to the Cincinnati 30-yard line, and he turns in a 4-yard gain.
Got Hanford Dixon over there on that corner. You see he's coming up to make the help out on the stop. He gets Ickey Woods stood up here and hangs on to him a little bit. And then I believe it's Junkin or Johnson that comes in and finishes him off. And this is when a running back gets hurt right here. And his forward progress is stymied, and those defensive backs or linebackers come in for the kill. 2nd
down 6. 4-yard gain for Ickey Woods. Esiason and a flag down. Has Eddie Brown wide open at the 30. 25. Inside the 25 at the 24. Remember, there's a flag down on the field, upfield at the Cincinnati 35-yard line as Felix Wright brings down Eddie Brown. And he was an armful on that play.
See the fake start to the left side. It's a great fake. Everyone thought that the big fullback had it. Pulls up and throws downfield.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 36, defense. Penalty declined. First down.
There's a little shake coming off the line. Gets free. Now it's a foot race. Boomer does a great job of playing the ball right in there.
Stephen Bragg's into the starting lineup today, having a tough afternoon. The penalty call was against him. They will decline that, take the play instead, and it's down inside the 30-yard line. The flag was for, as you noticed on replay, right off the line of scrimmage. He got the hand right up in the face mask of Brown. 46-yard pass play. The ball inside the Cleveland 30-yard line, and the defense has to stiffen against the Bengal offense, or they'll jump out into a big lead here in the first half with 7:49 remaining. Jim Riggs was in motion. James Brooks to the 15 of the Browns as Clay Matthews brings him down. Brooks slipping through for good yardage. Brooks, Mr. All-Purpose in that Bengal offense. Very, very quick, and can also receive the football so well.
See right here, he starts up in here and gets nailed from the one side, but he's got a little wiggle in here that just sets him free. And then the thing you got to like about Brooks is he never says die. You get a hold of him, he just starts bumping.
Second down and 2, 8-yard gain. Eddie Brown has 3 catches for 118 yards. Oh, all sorts of movement on that play. He'll bring this one back. Ickey Woods was trying to get to the outside. Braggs and Johnson chasing him down, but everybody was jumping off there. So we'll check out the call. Eddie Brown, 3 catches, 118 yards, and no touchdowns. There's Eddie Brown.
Yesterday, Coach White said that he was going to get the ball to him today. We had no idea of just how much, but he's done very well so far in this game.
And where he has been so tough is after he has made the catch. He's been able to slip away and get a lot more yardage. This one's taking a long time to sift out. A reminder to our viewers that we will be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. All right, which play are we going to run here? First of all, who's the penalty on before that? Then you can decide. Look at all the jumping around.
False start, number 82, offense. Second down.
Holman.
The tight end, Rodney Holman, is whistled on the false start. That will cost the Bengals 5 yards. So instead of second down and 2, it becomes second down and 7. And the signal from Sam Weich. What a difference a year makes. At this time last year, Cincinnati was struggling. And I mean losing games in the craziest ways. It all added up to a 4-11 season.
This year it's been just the opposite. Instead of losing the game in the fourth quarter, they've been getting the turnover, a big play to end up winning the game.
6:48 to go in the half. Second and 7. Could be a reverse. They fake the reverse. Brooks inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. Sam Clancy over on the tackle for Cleveland. And 56, David Grayson there too.
I don't know how fast Brooks is, but he's quick. He's got fast feet. He's shifty. When you go up to tackle him, he's never where you think he is.
Here's the play again now as you see Brooks and the fake on the reverse.
Turns in right here. See that little juke? Just waltzes away from 2 of them. I think that was Mike Junkin and Bob Golick, that both overran him.
Browns having trouble getting their defense on the field. It is third down and 3 as there appeared to be a little bit of miscommunication as to what they wanted to do. Darrell Sims, 99, then stayed on the field and got into position. Now they're all set. A lot of Browns up on the line of scrimmage. James Brooks slips through inside the 10-yard line. Once he got through the traffic, he had running room inside the 10, down at the 8-yard line.
It's a great call. They had the Browns defense just spread all over the field. And a little underneath handoff to Brooks. They're all looking for Boomer to go deep, throw this ball, and as he goes by Brooks, he just hands it off. Brooks makes a great cut on Golick. Just takes it up through the middle, and again, little man that doesn't believe he's tackled.
Felix Wright and Mark Harper team up. That's what Brooks has done so far in the afternoon. First and goal, Cincinnati. 5:14 to go in the half. They lead by 7 and are looking to add to it. From the Cleveland 8, Ickey Woods racked up by Bob Golick as he brings him down from behind, and then he's helped out by other Browns. Short gain at the 6-yard line.
Sorry, Golick making the big play there, just trailing down and pursuing, making sure that he's going to cut that, take away that cutback.
It will be second down and goal from the 6. And again, we tell you that the Bengals on this type of situation love to go to their tight end. Tim McGee just checked into the lineup. 9th play of the drive from the Cleveland 6. Ickey Woods and James Brooks make up the backfield. McGee and Ira Hillary are the wide receivers. Coleman is the tight end as you get tight on Esiason. 2nd and goal, and a fine defensive play by David Grayson to step in front of the Esiason pass and knock it away at the 5-yard line. Could have been a touchdown if Grayson's not there.
Well, he's looking for Woods in the corner of the end zone. It appeared that he had it. Grayson came out of nowhere to make the diving save. Rolls to it. We're going to see him come out, come left. Right there's a great save by Grayson.
All right, keep in mind this, that the Browns defense has not given up a passing touchdown this year on 3rd down and goal from the 6. They'll run, and Brooks dives. They're going to mark him short. Inside the 1, and decision time again for the Bengals. Do they go for it again? The last time they had 4th down from inside the 1, they could not punch it through. And this time they'll go again.
Number 78 is an eligible receiver. 78. 67 is also
a little crisscross trap in the middle. You've got to admire the Bengals' tenacity to hang in there with that inside running game in such a crucial situation, to believe in it. Brooks is just inches from scoring.
Is an eligible receiver on this play. 78 on the top of the screen. 4th down and goal. Ickey Woods, touchdown, Bengals. And on 4th down, the Bengals roar, and so does this sellout crowd here in Riverfront. Sam White loves it.
Ickey Woods just following the thrust of the right side of his line. Little second effort on his part to dig and put the ball in there. Really the thrust of this line, you can see on the left side of your screen here. They collapse the Browns down, but right there they burst through it. Had a little face mask in there too.
And the kick by Jim Breach is good. And the Bengals now have widened their lead as they gambled on 4th down and goal from inside the 1, and that man, the rookie, Ickey Woods, took it in for the touchdown. 17-3 Bengals, Larry, and the Browns have got to gather them in a little bit.
They're going to have to, again, as we watch Ickey Woods go through, you can see he's actually crossing the goal line before he actually runs into any defenders or any hang-ups there.
That was the first rushing touchdown for Cincinnati this season. 9 touchdown passes before that thrown by Esiason. And then, of course, the touchdown before that was picked up by Phillips, and he went in for the score here in this ball game early in the first quarter with 3:32 remaining in the first half. 17-3 Cincinnati.
Well, 17-3 says it all. The Browns are going to have to come off that early game plan of trying to run that ball. They have to start lining up and throwing it a little now.
Jim Donovan and Larry Zonka from sold-out Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. The Bengals off to a 3-0 start and have jumped out to a 14-point lead, as that's the way the drive was pieced together. 11 plays. Look at it. 8 up, 6:13 of the clock. And Ickey Woods polished it off with a 1-yard power run. Jim Breach has it ready to go as he tees it up at the 35-yard line. His first kick of the day ended up in the end zone. His next couple of kickoffs have been short, and Cleveland has been able to return. Back deep for the Browns, Glenn Young and Herman Fontenot. There they are. Young is at the top of your screen, Fontenot at the bottom. Young will take it, and it's 3. Cut down from behind over the 20-yard line. Bussey came in from behind and upset Glenn Young. If he had gotten by Bussey and slipped out of that little tickle that he got on the back of his foot, he had a pretty good burst of speed and some blockers in front of him. But Bussey makes the tackle.
He had some blocking set up right up through the middle of the field that he might have been able to turn that thing into something had he made it past that trip up there.
So now Cleveland has it, 1st and 10. Out over over their own 20-yard line at the 21 with 3:23 to go in the first half. And Mike Pagel and the Browns offense now must play come from behind football by 2 touchdowns. 17-3 Cincinnati. On first down, he'll dump it out. Kevin Mack with some blockers. Larry Williams leads the way as Mack goes out of bounds over the 25 out to the 28-yard line. It ends up as a pretty good play for Cleveland. They'll end up with about 6-7 yards on the play as Mack made the catch. Good blocking out in front of it. When you check it out, it will be 70. Larry Williams that got him around the corner.
Did a good job of following his linemen out here. They did a good acting job here. Hit, react, let the defensive lineman slide by, then get out here in front of Kevin Mack. Mack simply follows his blockers, takes it wide, picks up 8 or 9 yards.
Williams is the left guard. 3rd year out of Notre Dame. 2nd down and 3, a 7-yard pass play. Ozzie Newsome, the tight end, in motion. A lot of time for Pagel. Oh, a great play by Reggie Williams to knock the ball away as they had Webster Slaughter open.
That's the big mistake that we talked about. The thing that Pagel does not want to do is come up with a big turnover here.
Do you think, Larry, on that particular play, he might have just been looking at Slaughter? That allowed Williams to get right over there?
Well, a quarterback can't afford that tunnel vision. He's got to look at the overall picture. And the most important thing is he can't afford an underthrow in a situation like this.
Here it is again now. Watch him go back, and I think he's just looking at Slaughter all the way.
Well, if you see right up the left side of the screen, there's an open shot right there. And of course, Reggie Williams is running, making the dive.
The Browns 2 for 6 on 3rd down. 3rd down and 3. Everybody got a hand on it, and it's incomplete. We might have the Bengals nailed for a penalty in the backfield as Jason Buck really popped Pagel. There is a flag down, or is it against the Browns? We'll wait and see. They roughed the passer. That's exactly what happened is they nailed Pagel, and Cleveland catches a break because they were going to have to punt on the incompleted pass, but now they'll get
personal foul, roughing the passer, number 98, defense, first down.
Starting to get a little pressure. He wasn't under too much pressure right there, but where he's throwing the ball, those fellows were simply covered.
Well, instead of Jason Buck, nailed David Grant, the rookie out of West Virginia. Both Buck and Grant put the pressure on Pagel. They got there, but they got 98 on the flag as Ozzie Newsome talks it over with Mike Pagel from the sideline. 5 for 13, 62 yards. No big plays, though, so far for the Browns offense. 1st and 10, 3:05 left. First half, Browns trail by 14. Pagel making sure that his receivers can hear. He's probably checking off at the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10. Looked like a blitz, and they might have picked it up. Great catch by Webster Slaughter inside the 35 to the Cincinnati 32-yard line, and another flag is down as Reggie Williams got to Pagel late.
They've got the one-step rule. Reggie Williams might have been guilty of taking more than one step before the impact with Pagel. The great thing was there. Well, again, you watch Slaughter wiggle free at the line. He knows it's a blitz.
Roughing the passer, number 57.
As we hear the roughing the passer call on Williams. The great thing about Slaughter is he knew there was a blitz coming because of the checkoff, got position downfield, and broke it to the inside where he knew he'd have the open lane.
25-yard passing play. Now you're going to tack on the penalty on Reggie Williams for roughing the passer. Brian Brennan brings in the next play. Joe Kelly walks by Jerry Markwright.
Not pretty, but they're getting the ball down the field.
Very quickly, too, helped out by the Bengals. Getting flagged on a couple of plays as they have tried to get to Pagel so much.
This crowd's coming alive now. They know they can influence the play a little bit here with this kind of noise.
Being urged on by Koszarski on the sideline. Pagel cannot hear right now, and he steps away from the line of scrimmage. Jerry Markwright talking it over with him.
He looked to the ref, and the ref asked him to step back, so I'm sure you're going to hear a replay of that as soon as he goes to the line.
What's the best thing to do in that situation? Step away?
Well, you got to look at it this way. It's not going to get any quieter in here.
And the more effective the crowd feels that they are getting, they'll get even a little bit louder. They'll raise the volume.
That was great execution on that last play. Recognizing the blitz, checking off, the throw, the catch, all worked perfectly, just like in the playbook.
Pagel will try and bark out the signal. 1st and 10. At the at the 12-yard line. As they pick away with short gains, end up with 5 yards on that play, and it will be 2nd down and 5. Brennan's first catch of the day as Pagel waits for the next play to come in.
You get the feeling that Pagel's taking charge of the game at this point.
Yeah, he looks very much in control.
Where earlier in the game he was throwing high, throwing wide, seemingly a little maladjusted to what was going on, but now he seems to be settling into a tempo.
They'll have to hurry to get this play off before the 2-minute warning. And in fact, they will not get it off with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Well, there's the whistle, if you can hear it at all, over this bellowing crowd here at Riverfront Stadium as they try and pull the Bengals through. 2 minutes to go in the first half. The Browns trying to get back into it, down by 14.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. He was considered by many the finest outside linebacker ever to play the game. Equally adept at stopping the run and the pass. This member of the famed Steel Curtain played on all 4 Steelers Super Bowl champions. Who was this legend?
In the past 2 years, 500,000 more Americans switched to Liberty Mutual for their auto, home, and life insurance. More Americans are living in homes, getting into cars, and for workers' compensation, more American workers are insured by Liberty Mutual than anyone else. Because Liberty Mutual people do the job right.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Jack Ham played his position with such perfection that he was inducted this year into the NFL Hall of Fame, a true legend of the game.
The Acura Legend sedan offers such amenities as leather-trimmed interior, sophisticated stereo system, and ergonomically designed controls. Is it any wonder people enjoy sitting in it? And with its 24-valve 2.7-liter V6, wonder they enjoy standing on it. The Legend sedan, precision-crafted performance from Acura.
You won't miss one golden moment, because tonight, the Olympics are live and only on NBC.
How much he would love to be playing in this game. Bernie Kosar. And there you see the elbow brace, a hinge there to restrict motion. He has a ligament problem in the elbow sustained in the opening game. Now he's been helping out on the sideline, trying to help out Mike Pagel. 2nd down and 4. Browns trail by 14. They're at the Cincinnati 12, though. And the ball is caught, then dropped. But they ruled that Langhorne was down and did not have control. It's an incompleted pass as Kevin Mack picked up the ball. A big hit by Leon White. Lewis Phillips was also in there on the play, and it will be 3rd down.
Langhorne being hit by Leon White. Watching, you'll see Langhorne come in from the right side of your screen, run a stop pattern, then go to back out. You just saw him come into the screen a little bit. Here he turns his back to Leon White, and Leon puts it on him. The reason that was not a catch was his feet did not come down and make contact with the surface while he had control of the ball. Therefore, it couldn't be advanced by the Brown that picked it up.
85, Clarence Weathers checks in. The Browns were coming up to the line of scrimmage, and Jerry Markbright has sent them back as he talks over with Mike Pagel the situation. We have 1:51 remaining here in the first half. Both teams have 3 timeouts left. Cincinnati leads 17-3. The Browns would dearly love to get in right now before halftime with 7.
After further review, incompleted pass. 3rd down.
So there was replay on the Langhorne pass play, and they have ruled that it was incomplete.
Evidently, they thought prior to that it had been a fumble, but he did not come down and make contact with both feet on the ground.
3rd down and 4 from the 12 and out of the shotgun. 4 wide receivers in. Pagel to Brennan for a touchdown. Big play for Cleveland. Ryan Brennan, and a perfectly thrown strike by Mike Pagel.
Brennan didn't really open up that much distance between he and the defender. It was just a perfectly thrown ball by the quarterback, by Mike Pagel.
And the other thing he did, Larry, watch, he never looks back until the last second, and I mean Brennan.
rifles it right over top of some people that he can't see over too well. But the ball's placement was perfect on that. Brennan, of course, doing his job, getting a step, but that's not very much area to rifle that ball into.
Matt Barr ready for the extra point. And Mike Pagel in the Browns offense gets the job done. The kick is good. We have a flag down on the play. And the penalty is against Cincinnati. So the kick is good.
Offside, number 91 defense. Penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Carl Zander goes offside. 1:45 remaining, first half. And Cleveland answers the Cincinnati touchdown with a touchdown of their own, 17-10. And that has to boost the confidence greatly of Mike Pagel as he helmet off and gets congratulations over by the Browns sideline. Sam Weich talking it over with the official, now has to regroup. His team had a bundle of momentum after they scored on 4th down and goal. And at halftime, we go back to New York NFL Live with Len, Paul, and Gale. They'll bring you up to date on Sunday number 4 in the NFL. Bernie Kosar and Marty Schottenheimer talking things over on the sideline. Kosar is eligible to come off the injured reserve list after next week's game against Pittsburgh, but they're still wondering if he'll be ready. They certainly don't want him to rush through this injury. And right now, he's helping out on the sideline with Marty Schottenheimer. That was a well-orchestrated drive by Cleveland, helped out by a couple of penalties on the Bengals. They have now been penalized 5 times in the game.
Absolutely. The penalties kind of got them into position, but into that red zone from about the 25-yard line in, there was great execution and precision by Pagel.
Boomer Esiason has 1:45 and 3 timeouts to work with when he comes back out onto the field. A booming kick by Matt Barr. And he puts it right out of the end zone. They were a little bit concerned about the way he would kick off. He's more of a directional kickoff guy, but his only direction was out of the stadium that time.
Can't argue with that one. Right out of the stadium. You don't see that very often anymore in the NFL.
The last time Matt Barr kicked off was a tragic one for his career at that point. 2 years ago, in a late season game against Pittsburgh, in a great season for him, he went down, tried to make the tackle on a kickoff return, ripped up his knee, and was lost for the remainder of that season.
The interesting thing about that, I spoke to Marty Schottenheimer about that, and they actually feel that Matt's leg's stronger now since the injury through the weightlifting and rehabilitation process.
The ball brought out to the 20-yard line. Of course, remember on that kickoff, he was helped out by that penalty of 5 yards called on the extra point attempt. Esiason handles a waist snap, throws for Eddie Brown. It's incomplete. Will Hill in over on the coverage for the Browns, number 35, and Mark Harper was there too, 23. Let's watch the pass play again by Esiason.
Esiason just looking, taking his time. Seemed to be a little interference there downfield.
Oh, it hit Mark Harper on his helmet.
You don't feel that with that headgear on. That doesn't bother you.
What a wake-up call that is.
Well, you can't ask for better protection than that when the defender gets hit in the back of the head with the ball.
1:39 left in the half. 17-10. Cincinnati in the lead over the Browns. Esiason running. And Brooks got to the outside. And it is a very big run out over the 40-yard line to the 43. Once he got to the outside left, he had a lot of real estate and got away from Brian Washington. And the Browns were back on the other side.
What you got to like about this young man is when he gets the opportunity, watch him bounce to the outside and he shifts gears here. It was an inside play by design, bounces out. Now he's going to shift gears, make that cut, and he's going to do the right thing here. He gets over next to the sideline, utilizing the clock.
Good block downfield by Chris Collinsworth on Hanford Dixon to knock him out of the way. 23-yard run. Longest Bengal run from the line of scrimmage this season. 1:32 left in the first half. Out of the gun. Changes the pass. He was going down the sideline for McGee, then changed his delivery and tried to shoot it to Ira Hillary, and it's incomplete. Felix Wright on the coverage for Cleveland. As Esiason will get a stop of the clock again on the incompletion. It will be 2nd and 10.
I think Esiason would have had a completion there if it wasn't for number 78, Carl Hairston, who's back in the game. Got that hand up, even with the damage to his nose or cheek area and the turf toe that he's been suffering from the first quarter. He still played a major part in that one.
Here it is again. Watch Esiason go back. And as Larry said, here comes Hairston.
See, intimidated. Boomer there and couldn't give him the free lane to throw in.
Esiason 4 for 12. Almost had the Browns jump off again. Now he's dangerous when he can do that. And that's why he picks out Tim McGee. The Cleveland native from John Hay High School comes back to burn the hometown team and is out of bounds at the 37-yard line of Cleveland, and Cincinnati calls the timeout. So it's Esiason to number 85 McGee on the comeback pattern, and the Bengals are driving near the end of the half.
The Acura Legend sedan offers such amenities as leather-trimmed interior, sophisticated stereo system, and ergonomically designed controls. Is it any wonder people enjoy sitting in it? And with its 24-valve 2.7-liter V6, is it any wonder they enjoy standing on it? The Legend sedan, precision-crafted performance from Acura.
That's your situation here at Riverfront Stadium with 1:13 remaining in the first half. Sam Wyche's Cincinnati Bengals into the game at 3-0. Marty Schottenheimer's Cleveland Browns into the game at 2-1. The Bengals trying to grab a 2-game lead on Cleveland in the Central Division, driving here at the end of the first half. 1st and 10 after a great ad-lib play by Esiason to McGee. They're into Browns territory. Big rush by Cleveland. They get it off to Brown. There's a flag down in the backfield, but I think they might have gotten to Esiason a little late and roughed him up as Brown goes out of bounds up near a first down inside the Cleveland 30.
Esiason took a hit on that play.
From a whole bunch of people, Clay Matthews was the first man in there.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 23, defense, a blow to the face, blow to the face.
But they'll get Mark Harper on the flag. Everybody coming from that right side, Larry.
Harper coming in and went up, just evidently went up, put his hands or his helmet into Boomer's face. We're seeing him coming from the right side here. He's going up towards the head with the right arm. Boomer still makes the completion.
How did he ever hold on to his concentration to deliver that ball?
You see him come in from the right side of your screen and give Boomer a lick.
I think that's the way he saw it too. You see that kind of flash of orange and white and brown all around him, but yet he delivered it right on the money to Eddie Brown.
I'll tell you what, quarterbacks earn their money when they stand in there just completely unprotected, sometimes overextended, extended out, have to take those kind of hits.
1:05 remaining in the half. Good protection for Esiason and a lot of time. Now they're running up in his face, and he's going to throw it into the seats. Incomplete. 57 seconds left in the half.
Great pressure by the Browns defensive line. Great coverage downfield by the secondary.
Boy, the Browns got in there pretty good and chased him around. They haven't been able to get to him, but watch this time. They'll force him to throw it into the seats.
See Matthews coming in on the delayed blitz. Right there, he's got to get rid of it. There's the one-step rule. The ref's right there keeping an eye on Mr. Perry.
The rookie, Michael Dean Perry, saying, I didn't touch him. I'm away from him.
Signaled for a touchdown. He got those hands up to make sure that ref didn't mistake anything there.
Or at least a no touch, right? 2nd down and 10 with 57 seconds remaining in the half. Right in the eyes of Boomer Esiason. James Brooks trying to get to the outside, and Clay Matthews won't let him. Brian Washington and Matthews get over there, and Brooks gets out of bounds, which was a pretty smart play, too. They don't have to use a timeout. The play uses 6 seconds, and they have 51 left in the half.
Matthews did a great job forcing wide there and getting out. He had to cover a lot of ground in a short time and get the pressure on Brooks to carry him out of bounds.
The former USC Trojan, and that's what he has done. Averaged 100 tackles per season.
Says he loves the game. He'd play on Sunday even if he didn't get paid. Of course, then he said that he'd have to negotiate for practice.
Well, I wonder what a player would get for practice. 3rd down, 14 yards to go. After that loss as Brooks took it out of bounds. 4 wide receivers into the game now for the Bengals. And Esiason not going from the shotgun. He's right up there on the line of scrimmage. Long count. The ball is deflected and caught right at the goal line.
By who else?
Chris Collinsworth. And they signal for a timeout right on the white line. It was deflected and caught by the Bengals' Chris Collinsworth. We'll have to wait and see on replay to see who ended up knocking that ball down. Let's watch it. Esiason. Grayson got his hand on it, and you can tell it was thrown so hard that once he deflected it, it still went up in the air and rolled towards the end zone, and that's when Collinsworth gathered it in.
Game of inches. Had he been able to hang on to that.
Not far to go for the football to get across. 40 seconds left in the half. Esiason. Oh, what a hit by Mike Johnson, 59. As they gave it off to Ickey Woods, and he cannot get in.
You can see why Mike Johnson's broken into that lineup. He comes up and gives Ickey all he wants right in the teeth.
Clock running. Injured player down. Stanley Wilson, 32, can't get up. They'll stop the clock for the injured player with 21 seconds remaining here in the half. Stanley Wilson, the injured player. He was brought in there to help out on the blocking situation with Ickey Woods trying to pump it into the end zone. Stopped and rejected by the Cleveland defense. 59, Mike Johnson with the big hit. Cleveland had a great goal line stand against the New York Jets in the game they lost at Cleveland Stadium. Here it is. We're right on the goal line now.
Watch as Ickey Woods approaches the line. You'll see Johnson come in from the right of your screen and hit him. I thought it was right in the teeth. It was a little bit more towards the shoulder, but you could see the impact. You could see the shaking of the uniform and so on. There's tremendous momentum right there.
You know, when Ickey Woods got the ball, it looked like there was a little bit of a hole there. He's probably saying, I'm going to go right in. Suddenly, there was a big orange helmet waiting for him.
Those two middle backers, Johnson and Junkin, are good at that. They'll lay in there and wait. And when it's committed, when the back's committed,
Third and last charge timeout.
they'll come in and put the hit on.
The Bengals are nailed with a timeout being called against them. So now they've used all three. 21 seconds remaining in the first half. Stanley Wilson, the injured player, is up and slowly moving over towards the Cincinnati sideline. Bengals lead over the Browns 17-10. They led 17-3. Cleveland went on a big drive, scored on a pass play on third down from the 11. Mike Pagel connecting with Brian Brennan to close the gap to 7. Now Cincinnati is right on the Cleveland doorstep. Hey, be sure to join NBC Sports next Sunday for more exciting football action starting at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Then the Buffalo Bills, who open the season with 3 consecutive wins, battle the monsters of the Midway, the Chicago Bears, plus regional action. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Big lineup coming up next week, next Sunday here on NBC. And right here from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, the Bengals up. Second down and goal from the 1. They were actually right at the half-yard line and lost a half-yard on that last play. Ickey Woods again. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
Ickey Woods simply following the momentum, the thrust of his offensive line and riding the crest right into the end zone.
With 17 seconds left to go in the half, that young man has been into pay dirt twice. Here it is from up top and behind.
You can see the movement the offensive line gets. There's number 59, Mike Johnson, unable to jump and meet him in midair this time, just having to take him on, but it's just too close to the line. There just wasn't enough room for Johnson to do his thing.
Jim Breach's extra point sails through. And the Cincinnati Bengals, with a big 17-point second quarter, now lead over the Browns 24-10 as they have their 14-point lead back. Let's watch it again right there. Boomer Esiason leads them in.
Well, they favor that left side, and there's a couple of great reasons. Anthony Munoz and Bruce Reimer's right there, providing that surge to get Ickey Woods into the end zone. And nothing could please these Bengal fans more.
And the big crowds destined to stay here this year with the Bengals off to such a good start. Sam Wyche stated yesterday that this is such an important game for his team, that they are 3-0 right now. But if they were able to win this game and go to 4-0, he said they'd be even in better shape than being just 4-0. But they would have finally proven that they can handle a great team like the Cleveland Browns in a big game like an AFC Central Division battle.
Well, that's what it gets more down to confidence. Confidence in the fact that someone, either on offense or defense, is going to come up with a big play, that they can learn to relax and enjoy that feeling, knowing someone's going to come and make the big play for them.
He also said yesterday, we're afraid to lose a game like this because we know what the consequences are, that maybe that confidence would be shook a bit. So in front of that big crowd, the Bengals went 10 plays, 80 yards. It took a minute 28, and they answer the Browns touchdown. This one's on the ground. Glenn Young will run up and field it. Gets a seam and goes out over the 35-yard line to the 37 with 12 seconds remaining here in the first half. Mike Pagel has 12 seconds and 3 timeouts and is looking at a 14-point deficit. So maybe, just maybe, if he could connect on a pass play and get them into field goal range, it would have to be a pretty good pass play, though.
I would think they would go ahead and chance it due to the field position they have right here. They'll probably pump one long one anyway.
He's got 3 wide receivers on the line of scrimmage. And on one side, off to his right, out of the shotgun. Well, they got a screen set up, and he overthrows it. Byner was out there in the flat ready to make the catch with Dan Fike and Larry Williams over there. Joe Kelly was the lone Bengal defensive player on the attack as everybody had gone downfield with those 3 wide receivers. 7 seconds to go in the half.
The reason Pagel couldn't complete that is he could not see over those defensive linemen that were closing on him. They were right on top of him.
Now, I think that's been a problem for Pagel a couple of times today. The last time he tried to flood it out to Byner in the flat, it was the same situation. Remember, he had a tough time delivering the ball to him. Again, you've got 3 wide receivers. There they are on the top of the screen. Byner now heads over on the right of Pagel. 7 seconds left in the half. All right, he's going to heave it and air it out. Now it's anybody's football. And Slaughter had it, but catches it out of bounds. How about that? And that's the end of the first half. Webster Slaughter made the catch out of bounds at the 15-yard line as the crowd roars for their Bengals, and the Browns head to the locker room to try and regroup, down by 14.
Slaughter having a little disagreement with the referee about whether he was inbounds or out of bounds.
Here it is on that long heave down the field. Slaughter is 84.
He's out in front. This ball's coming almost straight down. Well, when he goes up, his feet are inbounds, but evidently part of his body must have landed. We can't see it from this angle.
Boy, there were a lot of Bengals down there and a lot of Browns. A Cincinnati first half as they lead 24-10 over the Cleveland Browns.
I'm Art Modell.
Just a minute, Art. Excuse me? I'm Pat Modell with a special thank you message for everyone who's been part of the United Way winning team. Bernie Kosar can pass us to victory on the field. And when it comes to providing daycare services, he's a team leader too. Marty Schottenheimer has given new life to our team, but he's also giving new life to our senior citizens. Gerald McNeil can run against the opposition on the punt return, and he's teaching young people to run against the odds and win when it comes to fighting drugs. United Way, and my silent partner here, is leading us all to a better community and a better tomorrow. Because United Way, it brings out the best in all of us. Now, did you want to say something, Art?
Goodbye.
That's good.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Jim Donovan and Larry Zonka back at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals lead 24-10 over the Cleveland Browns. Here at halftime. And a back-and-forth ball game, second quarter, and a big second quarter for Boomer Esiason and the rookie Ickey Woods. He scored 2 touchdowns, Larry.
Well, he's definitely in it. 24-10 would suggest it is not going so well for the Cleveland Browns, but perhaps not as bad as what the score reflects. I think they're still in this game and could turn it around.
Well, they'll have to regroup and get it back and probably score first in the second half, where they would be way behind in this one. NFL Live halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
His name is John.
John Lacey.
John's kind of shy.
It's John, isn't it?
No.
John?
Yes?
But he's making new friends.
I'm John. Hi,
John.
Because John is on the rebound.
Are you still in touch with your wife?
Only by check. Judd Hirsch is John. Dear John, Thursday, October 6th.
My folks just left.
Thank you.
The new Subaru Justy gets you anywhere you want to go, less expensively than any other four-wheel drive car.
Mr. Potts, you're home.
Of course. What brings you out on a night like this, James?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
There are over 90 weeds and grasses controlled by Roundup herbicide. But perennials like milkweed, hemp dogbane, quackgrass, thistle, and bindweed are important to control this fall because they're well established now, especially on set-aside acres. Stopping them now with Roundup will save you problems next season. Why fall? Because Roundup works best on weeds taking in nutrients to overwinter. You'll get better control. Now's the time to take control of perennials with Roundup. See your dealer.
Entertainment this week at a special time, Sunday on TV 13.
The all-nickname team, Boomer and Icky, sounds more like Sesame Street, but it's all working for the Bengals as they try to go 4-0. Let's run through all the scores and highlights. Buffalo, despite their lack of offense, they continue to win, trying to go 4-0. They lead at 16-14. We've had 5 turnovers and a blocked punt. Jim Kelly desperately trying to get some points offensively for the Bills, and he was able to connect for his second touchdown pass of the season. This in the first quarter. Hit Chris Burkett, 26 yards. Buffalo went on top 10-0. Burkett with one of the better celebrations in front of the sellout crowd. Second quarter, speaking of nicknames, Bubby Brister takes it in on the dive. Pittsburgh coming back as Chuck Noll has to like Bubby Brister. Now in the second quarter, Brister throwing a fine rookie Warren Williams. He's had some good runs, takes this one in for a touchdown. Keep that name in mind. He looks good today, but 3 Scott Norwood field goals. He's now hit 10 in a row at 16-14 Buffalo at the half. Elsewhere, the Jets lead the Lions 10-3 in the third quarter. The Jets have not allowed a touchdown since week number 1 against New England. Last year, Jets fans were yelling, "Joe must go." Maybe they should go and give him a raise this time around. And Mark Gastineau, nobody touches him. Nails Chuck Long. Gastineau with his 4th sack of the year. Many thought he was finished earlier this year. Second quarter, Ken O'Brien. This is the only touchdown of the game. O'Brien fakes the handoff, dishes off. Freeman McNeil, he's got it, runs it in 10 yards. The Jets take that 10-3 lead. They've started the third quarter at the Silverdome. The game you're watching, as Cincinnati and Boomer Esiason beating up on Stephen Braggs, who's replaced Frank Minifield. Eddie Brown statistics, 4 for 127 yards.
We talked about this game at the beginning. Cincinnati's defense is now coming together. I know Cleveland got a touchdown late in the second quarter, but with Boomer throwing the ball the way he is and with the receivers he has, especially Eddie Brown, beating up on Minifield's replacement, and the defense playing well, Cincinnati should win this football game.
Wow, the Browns picked by many to go to the Super Bowl, in danger of going to 2-2, and Icky with 2 touchdowns for Cincinnati this afternoon. Elsewhere in the third quarter at the Astrodome, Houston is leading New England 14-6. Here's another struggling team, Raymond Burry's New England Patriots, in danger of losing their 3rd consecutive game as Houston bouncing back from their disaster last week at the hands of the Jets. Speaking of hands, how's this tip? Cody Carlson, Ernest Givens, Drew Hill, 27 yards. Suddenly it's going the Houston Oiler way. Now in the second quarter, no tip needed here. Carlson, screen pass. Alan Pinkett, he scampers 51 yards for the touchdown. As the Houston Oilers open up that 14-6 lead, they are now in the third quarter at the Astrodome. At the Hoosier Dome, Indianapolis leads Miami 12-7. 4 Dean Biasucci field goals for Indianapolis. 150, 151 yards. Eric Dickerson surpassed Jim Taylor, 8th place rushing all time. In that game, the first Miami drive, Dan Marino, Lorenzo Hampton. Watch closely. Hampton hobbles into the end zone, pulls a hamstring, but he is able to continue in the game. Miami did lead at 7-0, but a critical play later in that first quarter, Indianapolis driving, and this is the rookie quarterback, Chris Chandler, stopped by John Offerdahl at the goal line, so they've depended on those 4 Biasucci field goals to lead 12-7 in the third. Philadelphia leading Minnesota 14-10. That game has reached halftime. Chicago was trailing in Green Bay 6-0. It's now 17-6 as they play the third quarter at Lambeau Field. Dallas was leading 14-0 at home against Atlanta, and the Falcons now lead at 20-14 in the third quarter. What's going on with the Cowboys? New Orleans is taking the lead on Tampa Bay, 13-6, that game in the third quarter. One baseball score for you. The Red Sox leading the Yankees 3-0 in the fourth. The ironic injury of the day, John Hand for Indianapolis, the defensive lineman, dislocated the finger. But he is continuing. We'll continue in a minute. Welcome back to NFL Live, our halftime edition. Len Berman along with Gail Sierens and Paul McGuire. The play last week in Dallas that we alluded to on the pregame show, the blown call, was not overturned up in the booth. I know you have some thoughts as you've been looking into the instant replay rule.
Long before this happened, I had some thoughts about it. I think they've really taken away our fun. As a fan, you know, we don't get to do our Monday morning quarterbacking anymore. We don't get to do the second guessing. Someone else is sort of doing it for us. It was kind of fun to argue about those calls. It was fun to blame bad calls instead of blaming the team that you wanted to win. But I think what has to happen here, honestly, is that instead of, if they're going to use the instant replay, they have to get it right. And instead of just using it for the calls that the referees are making down on the field, they have to get real serious about this. And if the refs aren't making the calls down on the field, then they have to be willing to make the call upstairs, take a look at their tape and do whatever they need to do.
Paul, when you played, there was no instant replay, and now it's an integral part of the game. Did you like it better that way or this way?
That way. It's a human game played by human beings, not by computers, and that's what you're doing. You're bringing in machines to make a call. In a Dallas game last week, somebody should have known the rule, whether it was Landry. Obviously, the runner didn't, and the rule is, so everybody understands it, the rule is if the ball is muffed, it goes in the end zone. Now, if the player's down, obviously it's a touchback. But if he runs around, he can run around all he wants. If he fumbles the ball while he's running around and they fall on the other team, it becomes a touchdown.
Right.
But if he's tackled, it just comes out to the 20. Now, I don't understand why Landry just didn't pull his team off the field and say, hey, wait a minute, let's take a look at it. No one seemed to know what the rule was. So if you're going to make rules, you better make sure that everybody knows the rules, including the coaching staff.
Isn't the value of replay, and really this is for both of you, that, gee, what should happen on the field is what everybody sees at home. If there's an obvious fumble on television to the world, then overturn it. Overturn it for the players as well.
Well, you know, they've always said the bad calls all even out, but the reason they put this instant replay in to begin with is to take the human element out. And what they've done by taking the human element out is they've relied on these machines and not the man who may be running or looking at these machines. And in that regard, the human element is right back in it. So it was just more fun when we got to sit back and see it one time a certain way, and then that was the way the call went.
You know, one thing about the replay that you're seeing more and more, and where they're keeping the human element in. Every time there's a questionable call, I mean, the players stop. They have taken timeouts in order to say, okay, let's take some time to see the replay, especially on questionable calls. I think the replay is good if it saves the game, because the only problem is when a team, they're working all year long to get to the Super Bowl or win the championship or win a football game, and because of a bad call, it takes it away from them. I think that's where it's good. But I think everybody now is totally relying on it. And they're not leaving the game to the players anymore. They're leaving it to that machine.
You know, it's interesting. If that muffed fumble blown call had happened on the last play of a game and decided the game, it still would have been tough luck because there was no protest system in the National Football League to protest the game as you can in baseball.
There is in baseball, right?
In baseball, but not football.
They go back and replay the game?
No, there's no pine tar game. They don't pick it up with an extra half inning. Nothing. It stands. And maybe that needs some adjustment as well. More NFL Live halftime activities coming up in just a minute.
State. Let's take a look at some of the other scores. The Jets move.
The Olympics, brought to you by MCI. Proof that commitment to excellence brings out the best.
One card lets you call from anywhere in your calling area to virtually anywhere in the world and pay the same as if you were calling from your desk. So now you can have the biggest office in town because the town is your office. The MCI card. It is America's business card.
Halftime at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals over the Cleveland Browns in this Battle of Ohio and AFC Central Division foes by 14. 24-10. The Hall of Famer, Larry Zonka. A little longer hair there, Zonk.
Had more hair there.
And this is what we feared. You know, it was strange is when you showed up this morning in the hotel lobby dressed for the game just like this, too.
My playing days are over. The closest I come to playing anymore is right after the Star Spangled Banner. I usually look for my helmet for about 10 seconds.
I saw that. That's why we hit it up here in the booth. I'm Jim Donovan along with Larry Zonka. We welcome Larry his first game here on NBC this afternoon. And Boomer Esiason and the Cincinnati Bengals were certainly ready for your kickoff, as was that Bengal defense. Here are some of the first half highlights, and here's how they've built their 14-point lead as we go early in the first half. Kevin Mack coughs it up, Larry, on this play.
Yeah, this is a tough way to open a game for a fullback. He loses it. Can't really blame it on anyone, but a great way for Louis Billups to come in and take control of the game. Seize the opportunity.
26 yards and a touchdown and a quick lead for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now Browns come back. Field goal by Matt Barr. Tighten the score at 7-3. Barr really automatic from that range as he connects. From the goal line, the rookie Ickey Woods. He's been a story here today.
Just again riding the momentum of his offensive line.
Cleveland's highlight of the first half on third down just before halftime. What a beautiful throw and catch. Pagel to Brian Brennan tightened the score at 17-10. And then just before halftime, the same play, Ickey Woods.
I think Pagel, he had a lot of trouble hooking up with anything more than 10 yards seemingly early in the first quarter. Started to settle down a little bit.
First half numbers, and that's what we make of that. Browns wanted to run. Didn't really get it done in the first half. And now, Larry, you have to wonder, 14 points down, can they take the time to establish a running game in the second half?
Well, I think they can take into consideration the short passing game, perhaps, and maybe work on some screens and draws, passing situations where they can capitalize without necessarily throwing the ball deep.
Mike Pagel warming up. Time of possession, 15:06 to the Bengals, 14:54 to the Cleveland Browns. Boomer Esiason, a good first half for him with big plays, and the part of his game that Cleveland feared was when he was able to roam around. In other words, get outside of that pocket and roll out. He was able to fire some cannons down the field to Eddie Brown in particular for some fine plays and catches that got Cincinnati into scoring position.
Jim, you give this guy time. He's an old pro quarterback. If you give him time, he's going to find a way to cut you to pieces, and he'll do it deep, and that's what he's done.
Stretching it out. Remember, he has 9 touchdown passes this season. He has no touchdown passes today. The Bengals coming into the game did not have a rushing touchdown, but Ickey Woods has taken them in twice here in the first half, so they're on the board in that category, building on a 3-0 record and a very important second half for them and for the Cleveland Browns. There's Matt Barr. He's had a very fine first half in the field goal department, doing everything that's been asked of him. But I would think if the Browns do not score first, and if Cincinnati get on the board first here in the second half, then Cleveland's in a lot of trouble, already down by 14.
It's important for him for the Browns to stop this drive, get the ball back, and get some kind of points, 3 points, 7 points, whatever, to gain some momentum to roll into this second half.
So the Browns received the opening kickoff in the first half. Now kick it away to the Bengals here in the second half. 36 is Stanford Jennings, ready to take it back. This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Stanford Jennings at his 5. Up to about the 25-yard line. Van Waiters, a rookie out of Indiana, down first to make the tackle for Cleveland, number 50. And also getting up for the Browns is Herman Fontenot. There's Waiters without the helmet walking over. And 58 there is Clifford Charlton, the Browns' first draft choice this year, a linebacker out of Florida.
Waiters playing behind Matthews. He's a big lad, 6'4", 240 pounds. He can do pretty much like Matthews, where he can come on the rush or he can fall back into coverage.
20-yard return for Jennings. 1st and 10 for Boomer Esiason and the Bengals. 24-10 Cincinnati leading here as we start the third quarter. Jim Riggs, 87, a tight end in motion. Stanley Wilson left in the first half just before halftime injured, but comes out running off the left side and gits good yardage. Hanford Dixon on the tackle for Cleveland, along with David Grayson.
May give you an indication of what Cincinnati's thinking is. Come out there and go back to a little blood and guts football.
Flag down on the play. They're saying face mask on Cleveland. And we'll check the call as Jerry Mark Bright huddles up. Carl Hairston listens in, and we will now listen in.
Face mask foul, number 29, against the runner. Incidental, 5 yards, resulting in a first down.
It was incidental on Hanford Dixon. Evidently, during the course of the tackle, his hand did slide up to cover the face mask, but he didn't really steer the ball carrier or change the momentum of the ball carrier with the face mask penalty, so it's inadvertent.
And a first down, too, out over the 35 to the 37-yard line. Brooks and Wilson in the backfield. Again, Riggs heads in motion. And again, it's Wilson. And again, he likes the running room that he gets out over the 40-yard line to the 44.
Same play, but this time Wilson chose to break it back inside. That offensive line is getting movement on some of those defensive linemen. And Wilson simply going in there and picking which hole he wants to run to.
Sam Clancy, Mike Johnson, Clay Matthews, all on the tackle for Cleveland, but not before us. A pretty good chunk of yardage gained there by Wilson out to the 39-yard line.
Cleveland cannot afford to let the Bengals handle them this way and wear them down on a long drive at this period in the game.
6 yards on that last play. Second down, 4. Eddie Brown heads off wide to the bottom of your screen, and Stephen Braggs comes up to play him. Esiason's looking that way, picking on Braggs. Brown's got it, and then drops it.
Same play as before. Exact same play. Fake off the left side, great fake, and then come back deep.
Well, you see two viewpoints of frustration. Boomer Esiason and Eddie Brown. Now, what would you come back into the huddle and say there after that?
Probably not much of anything. You see the great fake. They ran that play twice in a row, came to it with a fake on the third, and then set up the same way as early in the first half, and it was right on the money. Boomer's throw was exactly right, and he is not a happy man. I'm sure Boomer might have had something to say in that huddle.
Second down, third down conversions, they are 2 for 6. 13:27 to go third quarter. Brown goes in motion on third down. Look at the time, but from behind, the rookie Michael Dean Perry pulls down Esiason as he decided to run just a wee bit late at 92. Michael Dean gets in there for the sack. First sack of the afternoon. That's his second career sack in the NFL. The Browns hope many more will follow.
That sack was helped a great deal by the excellent coverage of the Browns downfield. They're mixing their secondary movements and coverages up very well, confusing Boomer there for a moment, and just long enough for Mr. Perry to get in and do his thing. Strong right arm on Mr. Perry. Did you see him wrap around the waist of Boomer, take him right to the ground?
Scott Fulcher is into punt, standing inside his 30-yard line back at the 26, and Gerald McNeil waits to take it back. Good punt by Fulcher.
Cube's got room.
From the 6, here he comes. Oh, he's got negative room as he gets chased back inside the 5. A late flag goes down. Tackle made by Eric Thomas, who plays a quarterback position on defense.
We might have duo face mask penalties here.
Here's Gerald McNeil on his way, Larry.
Well, he has to give ground to make ground. And right here, it appears that he's got his hand on the defenders. Kind of a mutual admiration society right there for a moment. I don't know who the call is going to go against.
There were actually 2 face masks. It looked as though Thomas had it first, and then McNeil waved back and got the face mask of Thomas.
McNeil returned the favor. You weigh 141 pounds. It's not a good idea to have anyone have a hold of your face mask.
That was a 53-yard punt by Fulcher. He's averaging 48 a punt this afternoon.
Illegal use of the hands on the run back. First down, timeout.
Well, obviously they didn't catch the first one. They got the second one instead, and that one was on McNeil. Exactly what Cleveland didn't want. Bad field position and a 14-point deficit.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Compassion. You can't teach it or place too great a value on it, but you could measure it down this very road on the morning of June 23rd. In the actions of Allstate Claims Adjuster Don Mulder, who at 5 a.m. drove 60 miles to a fire site, all just to shorten the distance between a man's loss and a man's recovery. People like Don Mulder, another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
My recipe for the perfect lunch? Watch this. Flundefjordish de Mindenfjorder.
What?
De Mindenfjorder.
Oh, you can't read the menu.
Ja, the menu.
How about a cheeseburger?
Oh, ja, the cheese and burger.
And a natural life?
Ja, the beer with the taste for food and fiber.
For food.
A food and fiber.
Yeah, for great taste, it's a natural light from Anheuser-Busch.
Are you sure you don't speak English?
Hey, Dave! Foreign gag again, huh? Has he yodeled yet? Oh, that's a yoker.
You hear the thunder, the call of the road. You feel excitement. Get on your Pontiac and ride.
It's quick and to the point. It's about power and performance. A hot ride with hot new looks. The dramatic new Grand Am.
Get on your Pontiac. We build excitement.
Today's game is brought to you by Pontiac. We build excitement. By Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive. And by Jiffy Lube. Now there are 1,000 Jiffy Lube locations coast to coast to serve you better.
From Riverfront Stadium, you've got Larry Zonka for the Bengals and Browns. Match number 1 of 2 this season between these two teams, and Mike Pagel is taking this snap from right on the back of his own end zone. So trying to get in there and get some running room for him is Kevin Mack. And Mack goes off the left side and gets out to the 4-yard line.
And did Reggie Williams put a hit on him? Came in like he meant it.
Mack gets a couple of yards on the play. Tackle made by Reggie Williams, Joe Kelly, Tim Crumry. Let's take a look at this punt return by Gerald McNeil. Remember, face masking was called. Here it is.
I thought the defender's hand went on first, but right there you can see Gerald's hand grab the defender by the face mask. Then he simply returns the favor.
2nd down and 8, a gain of 2 from Mack. Pagel will throw. And for the first time on this type of pass play, he connects with Ernest Byner, and he does a great dance along the sideline and goes out over the 15-yard line to the 17-yard line, toe tapping all the way down that white stripe.
Dangerous pass down here to throw it out to the flat. You can see right here. Well, the ball's already been caught at that point. Byner's doing one great job of trying to stay in bounds as much as he can when his momentum's carrying him out of bounds. But for Pagel to throw that flat down there, he must certainly have confidence in his arm at that point.
The catch and good run by Byner gets 13 yards and a Cleveland first down and a little operating room too. They've got to make it happen now. Down by 14 points. With the risk of losing this game and falling 2 behind the Bengals in the Central Division. He's got a wide open Byner. Byner pulls it down. Block on Slaughter will be flagged for the illegal block on 84 Slaughter, and this play will come back after the great catch and run by Byner. And I'm not so sure Byner needed all that much of a block.
No, it appeared that he might have had the man beat anyway.
There are 3 flags down in the field. No question, Slaughter threw the first one, though, as he blocked on his man, trying to get Byner some extra running room down the near sideline. Let's sort it all out. Well, that will be on Slaughter. Webster Slaughter will get nailed for that one. Here it is.
Slaughter, well, you don't see the block right there.
Use of the hands, number 84, on the run after the reception, still first down.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to explain that to you, but I'm not so sure that I understand what's going on here. They have illegal use of the hands, but I thought it was a clip from the rear is what I saw.
Actually, I think he kind of hooked him with his arm and brought him down. So the ball is out at the 19-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go. 11:54 remaining, 3rd quarter. And out of the I formation, Mike Pagel calls the first down play. Byner getting much more active here in the second half. Buries his head and goes over the 20-yard line out to the 21.
Again, that defensive line of Cincinnati just really controlling the line of scrimmage on that play. Stopping him short. There was nowhere to cut back to or bounce outside to.
Tim Crumry led the charge for the Bengal defense on the play, and that nose tackle, Crumry, has been all over the field. 58, Joe Kelly checks out as Cincinnati brings in an extra defensive back now to play second down and long. Byner wedged his way for 2 yards. Now they're going to give him more than 2. They'll give him 4 yards, and it will be second down and 6. That was a good run by Byner. Pagel on the quick pop to the tight end, Ozzie Newsome. It's incomplete. And David Fulcher came up and almost stepped in front of Ozzie Newsome to make the interception, but he did knock the ball away.
David Fulcher read that play, came up and laid low, and then tried to make his move on the ball, anticipated what was going to happen with the ball coming to Newsome. Right there. Tried to go over the top. Luckily, he got there late enough that he wasn't interfering.
Ball may be thrown on the wrong side, Larry, on that play.
Oh, yeah, it should have been out a little more in front.
6 defensive backs in for the Bengals. 3rd and 6. He can run, and he scrambles out over the 25 to the 26-yard line. He'll be short of the first down, I think. He had to get to the 27, so the spot will be very important. Probably, maybe close enough for a measurement. Jerry Markwright deciding now whether to call him in, and I think he's going to bring them in. Yes, he will. Chains will come in as Pagel scrambled out of the pocket and rambled up close to the 27-yard line, which would give him a first down. Crumry was chasing him all the way out of the pocket and made the tackle.
Well, that would make a fella nervous if you were a quarterback and had Crumry chasing you. You know, Crumry is an old linebacker from before, earlier in his career, and now he's on the defensive line. As you see them giving the spot and getting the first down.
So Mike Pagel went back out of the shotgun, and then the decision was to do this, run.
He's still looking like he wants to throw it. When he sees Crumry coming down upon him, he does the wise thing and heads for the ground. I think he was lucky in obtaining that first down, because at that point I think he really lost track of where the first down marker was.
So from the 27, Cleveland has started from their own 2, and they've moved it out for a couple of first downs. Handoff, and Kevin Mack goes off the left side and goes over the 30-yard line out to the 32. Mack playing with the big shoulder pads as he has the bruise on the back of his neck sustained in the opening game of the year against Kansas City, and every time he gets hit and those pads and helmet connect, he's in a lot of pain, so he's using all the padding he can, and that's why the extra hump on the back of his uniform jersey.
And that time he came out wide and just rode Paul Farron and Larry Williams' block and picked up somewhere around 4 or 5 yards, I believe.
Second down at 5. Out over their own 30-yard line. And Pagel will throw. And Webster Slaughter will catch. Out at the Cleveland 45-yard line, pushed over. Out of bounds into the Bengal bench by Eric Thomas and Solomon Wilcots. But they've got the catch by Slaughter, good enough for first down out near the 45-yard line.
Slaughter working on Thomas. Thomas obviously expecting some help, running, looking deep. Slaughter simply just realized Thomas was going deep, just hooked it up, caught the ball. He was dangerously close to that sideline, but managed to keep his feet inbound.
And the Cleveland drive continues now with 3 first downs along the way, 14 yards on the Pagel pass to Slaughter. Mack in the backfield. Byner out of the slot, heads down the line in motion. Across the middle, that's Reggie Langhorne. Taking it into Bengal territory, and a first down to the Cincinnati 42-yard line, where Lewis Billups brought him down. Watch Langhorne and the route he ran.
Langhorne sees he's got the inside avenue right here. Pagel puts the ball exactly on the money as you see the 3 defenders collide at once right after the ball got there. Pagel seems to have a little more confidence in his arm as this game wears on.
Yeah, he's got the hot hand now. Langhorne's first catch of the day is good for a first down to the Cincinnati 41-yard line. Brian Brennan brought the next play into the Cleveland huddle and lines up out wide. Pagel on first and 10. Browns trail by 14. And again, he's got Slaughter. Team tackling are the Bengals on defense, but Slaughter has another Cleveland first down inside the Cincinnati 30-yard line. We'll give the tackle to Lewis Billups, helped out by Solomon Wilcots.
Seemed to be backing off of him a little bit, giving him a little room to work. He started to take it deep, fake deeper, and then just curled up. Pagel looking there all the way, makes the throw. As you can see, Slaughter's already turned up. He's found the open spot and sat in it.
coverage as they are going to that side. They're going right after Lewis Phillips.
They're punching at him. They're coming back. They're threatening deep, then turning up short. And about the time they're looking for the short, they're going to hit the long one. That's what Pagel sets up. This is not a bad ball at all, just a matter of a half a step.
I've noticed on the last two plays, as you look at Langhorne stretch out and just almost pull it down, they have had an option to throw to Byner on a screen out in the right flat. Now the Browns backs running up to catch the call from Pagel as the crowd decides we better get in this one and help out. Cleveland's moving. Brennan catches and dropped the ball. Incompleted pass.
Very close to being a catch.
Brennan had it and then dropped it on the point of contact. And again, it was Billups and David Fulcher in on the coverage.
They've got the tempo of the backside of that, the far side of that defense again. As you see Brennan take it inside, he's just looking quick. They know that open avenue is right in there under that zone.
Boy, that's a close call, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a gutsy pattern for a receiver right there, too. He knew full well that he was going to have two defenders on him in no time at all.
Big play. Cleveland, 3rd down and 10. 5 for 9 on 3rd down conversions. Shotgun for Pagel. Byner running down to the 22-yard line.
Gave Cincinnati a dose of their own medicine. Ran that little trap inside. Byner almost wiggled his way free for the first down.
And Byner unstacking and pushing and shoving. And let's see, with David Fulcher, 33. Now they say, let's just play. Let's play ball.
Langhorne was pushing Fulcher around. Langhorne's giving up about, about 40 pounds there, maybe 45, 50 pounds.
There's Ernest Byner on that quick handoff on a 3rd down and long situation. Now Cleveland had pulled in Matt Barr, but let's see if they're going to think that over on the replay of the Byner run.
Didn't see the little quick trap action in there, but he squirts through there free and then makes a couple of very fine moves. One more man, if he gets loose from him, he's got the first down.
With 7:29 left in the 3rd quarter, that man, head coach Marty Schottenheimer, has decided to go for it on 4th down and 3. Brian Brennan cannot make the catch. It would have been a whale of a catch down inside the 20-yard line, and the Cincinnati defense holds.
Brennan seemed to have the pattern. The ball was just a little low and outside. I don't know how much interference Pagel had from the defensive line. Didn't appear to be bad. But the ball was just low and outside.
Would have been a whale of a catch. Now from Pagel's perspective, the throw and the stretch out by Brian Brennan. But he could not make the catch, and Cleveland comes up pointless on a big drive in the 3rd quarter.
We're not a company, but no company has more pride in what they do, or more pride in how well they do it. We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future, one that goes far beyond the ordinary, one that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Sports sedan that moves like a ground-level flying machine. Big, fast, and powerful. Pontiac Bonneville. Test one soon.
Get on your Pontiac. We build excitement.
There's a reason why, wherever he goes, Spuds McKenzie has so much fun. He's always in control. Spuds knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Be a good sport. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
Cincinnati leading over Cleveland. Bernie Kosar talking things over on the Browns sideline. Mike Pagel, there he is. He's right in the middle there. Pagel could not pull the trigger on 4th down and connect with Brian Brennan. Thus, the Bengals have the ball on downs, starting over their own 20-yard line. Esiason up top. Tim McGee came back and had it and dropped it at the 42-yard line. Stephen Braggs had overrun on the coverage. McGee made a nice comeback and was in position to make the catch, but couldn't hang on.
Showing a great deal of presence of mind to be able to come back to try to pick up that ball. You see, he's got him beat right here. He's got a half a step on him anyway, but then he sees the ball underneath, so he breaks back, comes back to his quarterback. Very important thing for wide receivers to do in an underthrow situation like that.
That's 2 drops now for the Bengals here in the second half. Remember, Eddie Brown would have gone in for a touchdown the last time the Bengals had the ball. He was wide open, and McGee had a big play there and did everything right, coming back and getting the ball, except actually getting the ball. Couldn't hang on. 2nd and 10. Wilson, can he get outside? You bet he can. And has a first down over the 30-yard line. The play was designed. Everything was running left except Wilson, and he was out there, and his speed got him the yardage.
You're going to say a great job.
Let's go to NFL Live in New York for an update. And here's Len Berman.
Thank you, Jim Donovan. In Buffalo, Pittsburgh punter Harry Newsome. And as blocked by Steve Tasker, Rob Riddick scores it, his 2nd touchdown within 2.5 minutes, as Buffalo also looks to go 4-0. They lead it 30-14. Back to you, Jim and Larry.
And the Bengals are on their way to a 4-0 mark as they lead here in the 3rd quarter over the Cleveland Browns. A 13-yard run by Stanley Wilson on that last play. Now James Brooks gets the call. Out to the 39, close to the 40-yard line. Tackle made by 91 Sam Clancy, the left defensive end for the Browns. The Browns might have had the air come out after that long drive, Larry. You have to wonder about starting from your own 2, going down the field, making good plays, then suddenly coming away with no points.
Gutsy call down there, but I'm afraid when it didn't work out for them that the momentum of this game might have shifted again.
So maybe Marty Schottenheimer needs a big play from his defense now to get them to force the Bengals to turn the ball over, get the ball back quickly. Wilson running, and he might go inside Cleveland territory to the 45-yard line. Hanford Dixon makes a touchdown-saving tackle.
You don't have to be an old running back to appreciate what the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line is doing here. They're punishing that defensive line of the Browns, opening holes from the beginning of this drive. As you see Wilson make the break back behind his offensive blocking there, and then he's on his own, and he bounces and ricochets all the way down to the 45-yard line of the Browns.
Wilson checks out. He'll get a breather. Ickey Woods, who has 2 touchdowns, is into the lineup. 31 in the backfield along with Brooks. This is Brooks. They'll pound it away. Get a couple of yards as the Browns nose tackle Bob Golick and defensive end Carl Hairston are in on the tackle of Brooks.
Bengals shifting in those running backs, trading them in and out, just wearing down this Browns defense, having their offensive line fire out. And that's a big offensive line, but they can move.
And all the while, they are also using some clock. And Cleveland used a lot of clock on that drive that took them down the field, but couldn't get any points out of it. Sam Weich loves to throw, but right now loves the way that his rushing game is looking, as it is effectively taking them down the field inside the Cleveland 45-yard line. Now 2nd down 8. 4:55 left 3rd quarter, and the Bengals nursing a 14-point lead. Now they go to the pass. Incomplete, as McGee cannot pull it down at the 35-yard line. Brian Washington is over there with him on the coverage. Boomer looks on. He's had a couple of drops. That's 3 now that he's laid in the hands of receivers here in the second half.
Watch the play of the offensive line. Look over at the left side. Doing a great job of handling that Browns defensive charge.
Bengals coming in with wide receivers now. Chris Collinsworth is in. Ira Hillary is in. In fact, they have 4 wide receivers. Esiason has not completed a pass this half. But you can't put the blame all on him. As I said, 3 passes definitely should have been caught. Now, wondering where James Brooks will line up on 3rd and 8. Boy, he was under a lot of pressure, moving those feet, and forces an incompleted pass. Mark Harper covers on Ira Hillary. Hillary up after the incompleted pass, and the Cleveland defense does its job again, holding the Bengals to no points.
That was Clancy putting a lot of pressure on Boomer. Came in and nearly had him, forced the throw.
Esiason to the sideline. pitches in to punt. Fulcher, 47 and a half yards. His average today, 53, the longest. Gerald McNeil waits. Fair catch. Cleveland will start again deep in their own territory. Not as bad as the last time, but the 11-yard line is no bargain either. A long way to go for the Browns. Fulcher did his job, and we'll be back with Cleveland's drive after this.
Bring on the city, bring on the night, bring on the highway, clear out of sight. Bring on excitement, yeah, riding Pontiac. Get on your Pontiac and ride, Pontiac.
Fully wrapped, restyled, and ready to go. From America's Rapid Transit Authority, the dramatic new Grand Am.
Get on your Pontiac. We build excitement.
Whether you work up a man-sized thirst or a man-sized thirst, nothing tackles it like Diet Coke. The real cola taste you can drink more of, because it's just 1 calorie.
I'll flip you for it. Heads again.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
What a great evening.
I hope it's not over yet.
Look, I had to tell you, right now, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm a married woman.
That's okay. I'm a married man.
Happily married?
Very happily.
Oh, me too.
Well, happy anniversary.
Stephen, it's beautiful.
An anniversary ring of fine quality diamonds, the gift that says you'd marry her all over again.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here.
Machine Gun Kelly leads the Buffalo Stampede into Chicago to take on Jim McMahon and the Monsters of the Midway.
Or the NFL's Top Gun Boomer Esiason takes Hollywood by storm when the Bengals battle the LA Raiders.
Before your team takes the field, catch NFL Live, only on NBC.
NBC's coverage of the games of the 24th Olympiad from Seoul. Primetime tonight. Look at this lineup. Carl Lewis goes for gold. Can he rebound after losing the 100-meter? Greg Louganis goes for gold in the 10-meter platform diving. His second of the games, maybe tonight. Plus, basketball and the 800-meter run for both men and women. All tonight right here on NBC. Cleveland with it at their own 11-yard line, down by 14 points. Quick dump. Byner's got it. And he'll pick up 5 yards out over the 15-yard line to the 16. Reggie Williams and Carl Zander on the tackle. Byner's been very active here in the second half, both running and catching the football out of the backfield. 4:14 and the clock running as we look at Carl Zander. He was in on that tackle, and there's Byner. Third quarter, same score as we had at halftime, 24-10. Cincinnati in the lead. Cleveland into the game 2-1. Cincinnati in 3-0. Best start since 1975. And they're all alone atop the Central Division, looking to open up some space with both Cleveland and Pittsburgh losing again today, and Houston also in a tough game. Pagel throws, and his receiver fell down. Brian Brennan saying that he got pushed. Pagel looking for a flag, and there is none to be found. There's Brennan. He has the Cleveland touchdown catch this afternoon.
Brennan thought that he had been pushed. I think it was more tangling up of feet. There was some more of that inadvertent touching.
3rd down and 6. And the Browns must start connecting on these plays as they will bring in extra core of wide receivers. Clarence Weathers, 85, just brought the play into Mike Pagel. 6 defensive backs in and a 4-man rush for the Bengals. Browns are 5 for 9 on 3rd down conversions. Plenty of time, and it would have been a heck of a catch made by Reggie Langhorne over the 30-yard line. He really climbed the stairs to get that one and was drilled by David Fulcher on contact.
Langhorne a little shaken up on the play.
Standing O for Fulcher and the rest of the defense.
They call him the Rock. There's a reason. 242 pounds. He comes in there. He means business. I think he got that nickname in college, if I'm not mistaken, from some of the teams that he played against because of how hard he hit.
All right, watch this play. Watch Langhorne go up to get this ball as he works on Lewis Billups.
Makes the good break, but when he does, he sees that Fulcher is coming at him. He knows he's going to get hit.
Oh.
Still, he's a brave receiver. He went in there and went up for it, even though it was up high.
Frank Winters will snap. Max Roniger will accept it and get it out of there. And Eddie Brown is going to try his luck at this one. Nice move, and another one. And a flag is down. And Brown is finally down inside the Cleveland 45 at the 42-yard line, but the flag is back in Cincinnati territory where the run back began at the 42. A 45-yard punt by Roniger. Eddie Brown. He wasn't going anywhere, was he? But he was making good moves.
Number 34 on the return. Cincinnati, first down, timeout.
Right there, you see number 34 come in and push one of the would-be tacklers from behind.
Ellis Dillahunt is whistled for the penalty. So the Bengals have the ball with 3:23 left in the third quarter, leading by 14 over Cleveland.
Do you know why Spuds McKenzie has so much fun at parties? Because he's always in control. Spuds knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
I'd rather switch than itch. So I switched to Tegrin.
Tegrin medicated shampoo controls all the major causes of itching and flaking. So Tegrin is more than strong enough for everyday dandruff like yours.
Wouldn't you rather switch than itch?
I'm Gene Rohrvig, State Farm agent. It's no secret why more drivers come to State Farm and stay with State Farm. They like the personal agent service and the way we handle claims, just like my policyholders, the Bymas. And now, because Ralph and Nyla are over 50, they're saving important money with a State Farm discount. If you are 50 or over and you want great service and savings too, talk to a State Farm agent.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The Van Pattens meet one tough customer.
Dick Van Patten, you're saying someone can oil and lube my car better than me?
Yes, it's called Jiffy Lube. In 10 minutes, the J-Team changes the oil with quality Pennzoil.
Here comes the Pennzoil.
Replaces the filter and lubes the chassis. Fills the fluids, 14 services in all.
Okay, but how much?
So welcome to Jiffy Lube.
We'll take care of you like family.
J-Team, this looks like the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
The tradition is here. The memories are waiting. Game 6 of the 1986 World Series was a tale of two destinies, an omen of glory for one, an ominous foretelling for the other. Next Saturday, the Mets host the Cardinals, or the Red Sox meet the Indians. The game of the week, only on NBC.
So far, a lot to cheer for this afternoon. The sellout crowd here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati enjoying a 14-point Bengal lead over the in-state rivals, the Cleveland Browns. 1975, the last time they got off this quickly, and they are running the football here in the second half with that 14-point lead in the person of Stanley Wilson, tackled by Bob Golick, Mike Johnson helping out, and this is what they're doing, Larry, just pushing it right at the Browns.
Well, this was an outside play by design because you see Brooks going outside to try to get the block. But instead, Wilson looks up inside, sees a gap, and takes advantage of it, and picks up 6 yards in the process.
Well, so far this year, you think of the Bengals as a big play offense, as they've certainly shown that coming into today. Esiason had 9 touchdown passes, but here in the second half, they are definitely showing they can run the football against a good defensive team.
There it is again.
Here's the bomb for Eddie Brown. And Felix Wright had the interception, but couldn't pull it down at the 20-yard line. That would have been the big play that Cleveland needed.
Third time we've seen that same play. The first time, of course, it worked for the big gainer. The second time was dropped, I believe, by Eddie Brown. And this last time, a forced bad throw.
Third down and 5 with 2:38 remaining here in the third quarter as we watch the pass route of Eddie Brown again.
Well, you see the safety closing in. Felix Wright. Really, that was a good job by Eddie to mess that thing up because Felix Wright might have had it. And number 79 there going in and making the tag on Boomer Esiason.
Bob Golick got in there and hit Esiason. 3rd down and 5. They're going to try and run it, and it's no go. Carl Hairston in and out of the lineup today with injuries. Puts the waist lock on James Brooks and brings him down. Sam Clancy helps out, but it was Hairston that got the job done, and it's chin strap off and off the field for Boomer Esiason. Clock running here in the 3rd quarter. Cleveland gets the ball back, and Larry, we have said a couple of times, they desperately need a big play to get them back in this thing.
Well, after that play where Marty Schottenheimer elected to go for it on 4th down, it seemed like the momentum has changed. They definitely need something to help it turn that momentum around for him right now.
That guy can give you the big play if he gets some running room. Gerald McNeil. This is returnable, and he calls for the fair catch quickly, and they'll take field position out over the 25-yard line, which would be their best field position starting a drive here in the 2nd half. This year, the Browns in the 3rd quarter have not scored a point yet. A minute 52 remaining in this 3rd quarter, and they're down by 14. Let's go around the league now and check and see some scores. Actually, they have not scored a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. Buffalo leading. Undefeated, the Jets over Detroit. Houston keeping pace with these Bengals, trying to stay 1 game back if Cincinnati wins here today. Indianapolis leading over Miami. Minnesota. Chicago beating Green Bay now in the 4th. 1st and 10 Cleveland, trailing 14 points. 3rd quarter, a minute 52. Here's the big play they're looking for. Webster Slaughter, he doesn't have any chance of getting it. But Lewis Billups was trying to run underneath it and make his 2nd big play of the afternoon. But Pagel overthrew him too, out of bounds. Remember, Billups picked up a fumble early in this game and rambled 26 yards for a touchdown as Pagel waits for the next play to come in.
That's knowing your personnel right here. Billups reads Slaughter, knows that he's going deep, and just literally takes off and leaves him in the dust, heading for that deep throw. You can see he reads it early, Lewis Billups, and he's looking for the overthrow. And nearly had it. He was closer than what I had anticipated.
2nd and 10. Across the middle, looking for Slaughter, and a nice play by Eric Thomas to come over and bat the ball down.
That play was there. Slaughter made the break, looked inside, had the clear avenue back to his quarterback. The throw was a little late, and it was a little off by Pagel.
Excuse me, Larry. It was Thomas last week that made the heroic interception as we watch the play again.
See, that ball's a little behind him, a little low, and he'd already come in to the back path of that linebacker. The ball should have been there about a second earlier.
Thomas made the interception late in the game that preserved the Cincinnati win. Pittsburgh, 3rd down conversions. Browns are 5 for 10. On 3rd down and 10 from their own 28. Mike Pagel. He's got Langhorne and a 1st down. Oh no, are they going to mark Langhorne out short? No, they won't. One official was moving up, but the other official was there to take the ball out close to the 40-yard line, and that's a Cleveland 1st down. Badly needed 1st down, too.
Throwing outside there, and you can see where the defender had fallen down. Makes a good catch, but can't keep his feet, can't stay in bounds. Hattie would have been open sailing for about 15 yards.
They get 12 on the play and a 1st down. A minute 33 remaining 3rd quarter. 24-10 Bengals. Pagel, good catch by Byner. Pulls it down, slips under 2 tackles and goes inside Bengal territory to the 49-yard line, and a Cleveland 1st down. As Byner walks back, we'll slip out and go to New York. An NFL Live update. Here's Len Berman.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy. At the Silverdome in Pontiac, it's Ken O'Brien for the Jets. 26 yards, and wide open is Wesley Walker for the touchdown. With 5 minutes to go, the Jets threaten to go 3-1. They lead it 17-10. Back to Jim and Larry.
55 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Ball at the 49-yard line. 1st and 10. Pagel, Byner, and Byner having his best half of football this season. Brings it up deeper inside Cincinnati territory, out at about the 41-yard line, and they'll come up to the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and short. Don Strock is number 12, and Bernie Kosar is without uniform. And right there with the headphones on is Mark Trestman, the quarterback coach. He was Kosar's quarterback coach at the University of Miami and brought here this year to be the quarterback coach with Cleveland. He hasn't had a great opportunity to coach Kosar, though. He's been out since the opening game against Kansas City. Mike Pagel's running the show, trying to bring the Browns back. Second and short. They've got Webster Slaughter. And he cannot hang on as Eric Thomas came in at the 2-yard line to knock it away.
Great job by Eric Thomas.
There's a flag down on the play, and it's against Cleveland.
Pagel looking off to the right, then turning and firing. Predetermined, he goes for the big one. And broken up by Eric Thomas in the end zone.
Offense, second down.
Right there you can see the gap. The yardage opened up by Slaughter on Thomas. The ball he just had to wait for the ball a little bit. That one step cost him.
It was holding on Cleveland, and it will bring the ball back over onto their side of the field, just shy of midfield. And it will be second down and 11. Browns have been flagged 7 times now for 47 yards in the game. Call it second and 12. Mack in the backfield with Byner. And quickly they throw to Ozzie Newsome. That play now has connected 3 times for the Browns, and they get some of that penalized yardage back down near the Cincinnati 40-yard line, and they'll be short of a first down by about 2.
Got the blitz coming inside. Browns were smart enough to anticipate that. They knew if Newsome could squirt through there, they'd have him very quickly.
Artie Schottenheimer sends the next play in. First year running the show offensively. Lindy Infante was the offensive coordinator. He left for Green Bay to take over as the head man of the Packers. Clock is running out. That's what Marty's pointing to. Only 6 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Had to take a timeout because of the clock.
And that's it. At the end of the third quarter, the score. The Cincinnati Bengals 24, the Cleveland Browns 10. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
This is Jack Killian, the Nighthawk on KJCM Radio. The lines are open, so give me a call.
There's danger on the air. Midnight Caller. Dateline, September 88. Final clearance at your Metro Toledo Chevy dealer. There's a shortage of hard-to-get, in-demand Chevy S10 and full-size pickups. Except here at your Metro Toledo Chevy dealers. They ordered early and ordered smart. They've got S10s priced from $68.90 and full-size pickups from $97.94. The selection's right, the prices are right, and now's your chance to buy right. But only at your Metro Toledo Chevy dealer. Dave White, Dunn, Richard, or Bob Schmidt Chevrolet. Hurry, cashbacks end September 28th.
If you're in business, sooner or later, you're going to need video products to help your business grow. At B&J Video Systems, we feature worldwide sales and service on state-of-the-art Panasonic industrial video equipment. From cameras to monitors to durable industrial VHS and 3/4-inch videotape decks, we have what you need to enhance your chance at looking good. If we haven't called you yet, expect our call soon. B&J Video Systems and Panasonic Industrial will enhance your chance at business. Expect our call.
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru is worth more than the same money from anyone else. It's worth more because Subaru has the best-selling import wagon in America. It's worth more because Subaru's XT6 has the same engine design found in a Ferrari. It's worth more because the Subaru Justy is the lowest-priced four-wheel drive passenger car in America. Up to $1,000 cash back on a Subaru is worth more because it's on a Subaru.
For a great deal on a great car, visit your Subaru dealer today.
The Summer Olympic Games, only on TV 13.
Through 3 quarters, the numbers show. Look at the advantage the Bengals have had running the ball. They did a lot of that in this just past third quarter. The Browns went ahead in passing yardage. That's because they've had to throw so much, down 14 points. Jim Donovan, Larry Zonka, Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati. Sellout crowd watching the 3-0 Bengals hold on to a 14-point lead over the 2-1 Cleveland Browns. 3rd and 1, big play. Mack over the top. Doing an Edwin Moses hurdle in there for a first down.
What an effort by Kevin Mack. Really wasn't any hole there. He had to go over the top. And it looks like he's made it. For a big man, he has a lot of spring in his legs right there. goes up and soars over. It's about a 7.5 or 8 foot lunge right there.
And what was the difficulty degree factor on that one?
Difficulty degree factor?
Just keeping up with our Olympic theme. Ball inside the 40-yard line now. 38. They've got the first down.
We need a computer on the sidelines for some of those. Huh?
Yeah. Byner up talking with Mike Pagel, making sure they have everything set. I think they're going to ask the Browns to re-huddle now. We have 14:54 left in the game. Cleveland's offense has 1 touchdown. And remember, they've given up 1 touchdown themselves, too, as Marty Schottenheimer would love to get a little instant thunder going here in Cincinnati this afternoon. Nothing happened in the third quarter. The Bengals didn't add to their lead, but they didn't lose any of it either. Pagel pumps and then fires, and it's Ozzie Newsome again, his 4th catch of the day, to the 35-yard line, quickly smothered by Joe Kelly.
He was looking at Langhorne coming in from the outside. He wanted that quick slant in move by Langhorne, looked at it, realized that some of the secondary, the Bengals had read it, anticipated, and were closing on Langhorne. Then he came off.
Second down at 7, a 3-yard gain. Slaughter goes out to the top of the screen as Mike Pagel brings the Browns up. Newsome is in a slot off the line of scrimmage. Quick count. Kevin Mack trying to get to the outside. A lot of black jerseys chasing him there as he goes out of bounds. Inside the 30, out at about the 29-yard line.
Kevin Mack making something out of nothing at that point, utilizing great speed for a large man to get outside, get the first down, and get out of bounds.
Here it is again. Watch Mack coming up, big number 34. You wouldn't think a big man has that kind of speed to get to the corner.
Right here, he shifts gears and gets to the outside, and then he toe walks a little bit down that sideline to get the first down.
And
well, I guess he didn't get the first down. They're calling it third down.
He's very close, and he is also known to give you a little stiff arm there too when he normally does it, although he didn't employ it there. Third down, 1. The crowd rises. They hope their Bengal defense does. Oh, they're going to throw. And they've got the first down. Now Byner, trying to make some more happen, is tackled and pushed down by Fulcher. Now Byner and Fulcher have already had 1 scrap today, and I noticed at the end of the third quarter they shook hands. This might require another shake of the hands.
Yeah, that wasn't a hand that Fulcher was shaking right there. That was Byner. He took him and threw him down out of bounds. Byner's looking back as he approaches the huddle. You'll see it here. Byner's camped outside in the flat. Knows where the first down marker is, makes a very difficult catch looking back with a ball behind him like that, then comes head on into his friend. And there his friend says, I don't like you making that first down.
Good block by Kevin Mack on that last play, picking up linebacker Leon White. 1st and 10 Cleveland. Pagel. Another catch by Ozzie Newsome, close to the 10-yard line. Loose ball, but they ruled Newsome down at the 10, and Ozzie has been sure-handed today. And they have needed every one of his catches.
Found the seam in there between the 2 defenders. Got himself open and made the catch.
Ozzie Newsome out of Alabama. Could be his last year in the league. Here he is.
I think we did a good job of looking off, coming back to Newsome. You see, he landed on the ground and slid with it. The ground can't force a fumble, or make a fumble.
Bengals have no sacks today. And really not a lot of pressure on Mike Pagel all day long. On the Newsome catch, it's 1st and 10. Here's Ozzie Newsome. Did he have control of the football as he went down? Pagel caught by Brennan down to the 5-yard line. Tackle made by Carl Zander. Out of Tennessee in his 4th year, the linebacker right on the back of 86 Brian Brennan, but not before he could make the catch as Pagel zipped it in there.
Zander a little bit out of position, but using that speed, utilizing that speed to cover the ground and make the necessary tackle. Pagel demonstrating a lot of concentration and leadership here.
13th play of the drive for Cleveland. From the 5-yard line with 11:30 left in the game and down by 14. And again, it's a quick short one, and again it's caught, this time by Reggie Langhorne. Langhorne's been so close on a number of plays today and has made some catches too, that this was an easy one for him, even though he was in a lot of traffic and they're a little bit closer to that end zone.
After that hit in the back or in the kidneys that he took from Fulcher downfield, I didn't think he'd be that quite ready to turn his back on those defenders again. This lad wants to win.
And the messenger service has brought in the next play. Brennan brings it in from Marty Schottenheimer. Langhorne made that last catch as Fontenot checks over to the sideline. Slaughter goes to the top of the screen. Brennan on the bottom. 10:49 left in the game. Browns need a score right here desperately. Third down, 3 to go. Kevin Mack, touchdown, Cleveland, as they cross him up and run it in.
Literally crisscrossed by Fulcher and Wilcott right after he got the ball. Had that play been a second later developing, it would have gone anywhere.
So they are very much back in the ball game. Shaking his head, Marty Schottenheimer. He called the right number there. Kevin Mack takes it in.
Right after Kevin Mack gets the ball and starts up, you'll see the strong safety Fulcher go right behind him. Kevin made a fine cut. Offensive line did a great job inside. I think they caught that Bengals defense a little off guard. They were looking for something else, perhaps a little wider.
3-yard touchdown run for Mack. 24-16. The Bengal lead down to 8 as Barr waits. And tacks on the extra point. It's a 7-point ball game now. Cleveland has climbed right back into the hunt. So hang around with 10.5 to go in the Battle of Ohio. The Browns are closer.
What do you think of the Ford Festiva?
It's big.
It's small. Sort of a big smallness.
Cutest little thing.
Festiva gives you features like a roomy interior, 660 powertrain warranty, sometimes even your own parking space. So it's big and small.
How about Festiva's price?
It's small.
Small.
It's nothing.
Ford Festiva. Call it big. Call it small. Call it yours for only $55.95.
Get up to $300 cash bonus on Ford Festiva.
The American desire to succeed runs in the family, brought here by your great-great-grandparents and handed down to you. In that same spirit of success, Citicorp and Citibank help more Americans own homes, attend college, and get what they want with MasterCard and Visa cards than any other company. We also serve millions of customers around the world. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
This is a machine designed to keep you on time. And this is what makes it tick. People. Working together with clock-like precision, each dedicated to keeping you on schedule. Time after time after time. American Airlines, the on-time machine.
Today's game is brought to you by Michelob. Michelob is a proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Burger King, where we do it like you do it.
Sold out Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Now the big crowd settles back in. We got a ball game on our hands here. The Cleveland Browns have scored early in this fourth quarter with 10:39 remaining and have cut a Bengal 14-point lead down to 7 as Matt Barr kicks it away. 24-17 Cincinnati. They are undefeated at 3-0. Cleveland is 2-1. Stanford Jennings on the run and going backwards takes it over his shoulder in the end zone and decides to put the knee down and take it out to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 on the touchback. Let's take a look at Kevin Mack's touchdown run again out of the eyes of Mike Pagel, and we widen out.
You see they had the blocking inside. Bengals obviously had anticipated something wide and sent the two safeties, one from each side. Kevin redeeming himself a little bit here for that earlier fumble in the game. Good concentration, hanging onto that football.
On that touchdown drive, the Browns had 3 third-down conversions, and Pagel was 5 for 5 for 30 yards. Now the Cincinnati offense has kind of gone out of sync in the second half. Now they need to turn the engine back on with 10.5 to go. They lead by 7. James Brooks. James Brooks with some good running room has a first down over the 30 out to the 32-yard line. If the Bengals have moved at all here in the second half, it has been on the ground. As you see the Cleveland defenders, Darrell Sims and Carl Hairston walking back to the huddle. And there's 56 David Grayson coming into your picture. They've been out on the field a long time this afternoon, but not as much here in the second half because the Browns offense has had long drives.
That's what I was about to mention. They're obviously getting worn down a little bit. That Carl Hairston, what an emotional and leader by demonstration for the rest of the Browns outfit, suffering the early injuries, coming back, and being a factor in this game.
85 there was Tim McGee. 1st and 10. Brooks again. He's got the outside again. Now he's going back to the middle. Over the 45 to the 46-yard line.
What a future this young man has in the NFL. He just has it all. He can run outside. He can run inside. He doesn't mind blocking, likes to be a receiver, doesn't mind whether his stats are uneven, whether it's more rushing than passing. He'll do anything for you.
Boy, look at that. Against the total Brown rushing game, Brooks has 20 more yards.
Watch him here. He gets good blocks up front, and it springs him to the outside. He gets outside of Grayson Matthews there and turns it upfield, but then he's on his own, and he runs through that secondary like he owns the place.
Mike Johnson finally brought him down, but not before he got another Cincinnati first down out to the 46-yard line, and he's run 2 plays and gotten first downs on each one of them. 8:50 remaining in the game. Ickey Woods, more running room as they are carving up the Browns defense with the run out over the 50 to the 45 and inside the 45 to the 43-yard line where Stephen Braggs and Brian Washington team up for the tackle of the rookie Ickey Woods.
Well, you just keep beating on the same gong for these offensive linemen of the Cincinnati Bengals. They're handling the defensive linemen of the Browns inside, creating those gaps and giving the running backs for the Bengals the cutbacks.
Sam White thinks that his team is better conditioned this year, and maybe that's why they have been so strong in the fourth quarter in games. Jim Riggs in motion, 3 consecutive rushing first downs. Sam Clancy brings down Ickey Woods, so that streak will end as Ickey gets down to the Cleveland 40-yard line.
A shoestring tackle by Clancy. Had he missed that, Woods had a large opening to the outside that would have turned into a 25 or 30-yard gain.
He got 3. It's 2nd down and 7, and the clock is running. Sam White calling out the play to Boomer Esiason. Chris Collinsworth on the sideline. He's been in the game today and made a big catch on a deflected pass. Remember that play that led to a Cincinnati touchdown? David Grayson knocked the ball off his hand. It went up in the air and Collinsworth grabbed it, got down to the goal line, and then a couple of plays later, Ickey Woods took it in. So from the 40-yard line, the Browns looked like they were blitzing. James Brooks makes the carry, and the Browns are all there to make the tackle. As Cleveland was coming, great guns with people shooting up there. It looked as though Cincinnati had a reverse setup, and Mike Johnson makes the tackle on Brooks.
Brian Washington had safety blitz on. You'll see Brooks start wide here, go to handoff, look to keep it, and then he's influenced by the fact that Brian Washington was right there on the gap that he's going to turn up. Because of all that, many of the leading blockers got knocked off and gave that defender Mike Johnson, a clear shot at Brooks.
Well, here's the play Cleveland must make defensively. 3rd down and 12. 6:45 remaining in the game. 2 for 9 on 3rd down conversions are the Bengals today. Ira Hillary down the line of scrimmage in motion. A rollout with protection. Ball knocked away by Felix Wright. Knocked it away from Tim McGee, Stephen Braggs, and Will Hill were over there on the coverage, and so the Browns defense does the job and will hand the ball back over to the Browns offense, trailing by 7.
Brian Washington and Felix Wright, last 2 or 3 plays, the 2 safeties for the Browns defense, been very active, both blitzing and defending. You see the receivers are getting a little bunched up in there. One turn short. That ball's just too late coming in there to have any chance.
The punt of Fulcher bangs about 5 or 6 yards deep in the right corner of the end zone and out of bounds. So Fulcher does not pin the Browns deep in their own territory. Cleveland gets the ball at their own 20. Pagel and Schottenheimer conversing. They need a touchdown, trailing by 7.
To those who with a boundless energy and burning spirit live to be the best, comes a salute from those of us who live by the same values, the U.S. Armed Forces.
I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I had the money.
Yeah. I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the Armed Forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. Honey, should we take the other car?
I'd rather not.
Ford Escort now offers an attractive new design, plus fuel injection and a 660 powertrain warranty. In fact, the redesigned Ford Escort may make your other car seem considerably less attractive.
Honey, aren't we ever going to take the other car?
Nope. The world's best-selling car just keeps looking better all the time.
Now get a $500 cash bonus on 88.5 Ford Escorts.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Thinking ahead. It's something you started doing the day you learned how to wish and plan and take measures to help your wishes come true, which is just what Allstate Universal Life helps you to do. To plan while protecting your family and save as your family grows at rates that could help make a lot of your wishes a reality. Allstate Universal Life Insurance, another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here.
Machine Gun Kelly leads the Buffalo Stampede into Chicago to take on Jim McMahon and the Monsters of the Midway.
Or the NFL's Top Gun Boomer Esiason takes Hollywood by storm when the Bengals battle the LA Raiders.
Before your team takes the field, catch NFL Live, only on NBC.
Buffalo with a big lead over Pittsburgh, 36-14. The Bills for real, Larry?
Looks like it.
Is Mike Pagel for real? He's brought the Browns back to within 7. He's throwing for Slaughter, and it's incomplete, overthrown.
I think Slaughter and the defender there had lost that ball in the sun.
I think you're right. That's a tough sun to be looking back into.
I think it was Eric Thomas out there with him, and both lost it in the sun.
Indianapolis gets their first win of the year after they lost on Monday night to the East Cleveland Browns. Minnesota leading over Philadelphia. Chicago easily now over Green Bay in the 4th.
What's that make Green Bay? 0-4?
0 and whatever.
0 and whatever.
Dallas, a final, and New Orleans wins. Surprisingly low-scoring game against Tampa Bay. Let's watch the pennant race. Boston in control in the 7th. Their magic number is 5 coming into the day. Detroit beat Baltimore. Milwaukee leads in the 5th. 2nd down and 10 with 6:18 to go. 24-17, Cincinnati leading the Cleveland Browns. They go right back to Slaughter, and he can't pull it in at the 40-yard line. Now they have set themselves up with a 3rd down and 10 as they are 0 for 2 going to Slaughter on this series.
They're trying to pick on Eric Thomas over there, and I'm not quite sure why. You see, he looks off to the right and then turns and fires. Slaughter just doesn't have the lead. Thomas is right there step for step with him. Now, that's what Slaughter does the best right there. They call him the Gristle Kid. They say that the other wide receivers say he doesn't have a bone in his body because of the way he contorts when he comes off the line.
Kind of like a slinky or something like that. Huh?
He gets open. That's the thing.
Big play. 3rd and 10. Shotgun. Excellent protection. A fight for the ball for Brennan. And they're going to say the catch is made by Brennan out at the 28-yard line. Horton was in there battling with them for the ball. Ray Horton, number 20. Brennan makes the catch, but they're short of the 1st down, and Max Runninger will have to come in with 5:47 in the clock running left in the game, and they trail by 7.
Pagel doesn't have anywhere to go. Sees Brennan turned up short. Brennan's ready. The ball's a little low and outside, and it's a kind of a fight right here. What the referee evidently had decided was that Brennan was down. Part of his leg must have touched the ground.
I think they're looking at this one on instant replay, so the clock has stopped with 5:36 remaining to see if Brennan had control and if he was down. Browns trail by 7 as we await the ruling of instant replay on this one. George Slatke is our instant replay official. Here's the backside view of Pagel's 3rd down and 10 pass to Brian Brennan. That was the setup as we pull back in now. Jerry Markbride waiting for the call down from the replay booth. Browns down by 7. They have all of their timeouts left, but the thing they didn't want to have to do is give away the ball, and it appears that is going to be the case. As Max Runninger will do the punting.
Bengals getting their hands on the ball now. You'll see that running game coming forward. They're going to run Brooks just the way they have been all through this 3rd and 4th quarter. Burn that clock up on Cleveland.
Max Runninger today, 4 punts, 44.3 yards is the average.
further review of the play stands. It's 4th down.
All right, here it is. The pass to Brennan, as Larry said, low and outside on the delivery.
Yes, you can see his knee was on the ground before all that twisting started. Official call stands.
Runninger punts it away. There's a flag thrown. Eddie Brown gets away from it as it takes a mini Bengal bounce out near the 35-yard line.
2 flags down on the field.
Runninger not happy with that punt as he slaps himself on the thigh going over to the Cleveland bench. We'll check out the penalty situation. And Barney Bussey, number 27 there in Cincinnati, signaling. I thought he did signal that it was against Cleveland, although we'll wait and see.
He's pointed, at this point, he has pointed both directions.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure which one he's going to decide on.
The way Jerry is marked right his position, this one's going against the Bengals. Carl Hairston, 78, without the helmet. All right, let's clear it up.
Number 34, while the kick was in the air, penalized from the dead ball spot. 1st down, timeout.
Ellis Dillahunt gets the penalty. Sam White sitting on a 7-point lead, 24-17, with 5 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the ball game. They'll try and grind out the clock and hang on and go 4-0 when we return.
Right now, having fun in a Ford Ranger is a whole lot easier to do. Get up to $750 back on the best-selling compact truck in America.
This year, as the Olympic spirit burns proudly in your heart, why not wear this proudly on your chest? Michelob Light's free U.S. Olympic Team pin. Visit this display for details.
In every town in America, there's always one place that does a little bit better job of fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts.
Now, you may be ready for the cooler weather ahead, but is your car ready? To make sure, stop by your Napa Auto Care Center now for our fall specials. Look for the sign of quality car care. Napa.
Thunderbird Turbo Coupe. Run with it.
Now get a $1,000 cash bonus on Ford Thunderbird Turbo Coupe.
Promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Cincinnati trying to grind out the clock, leading by 7. On 1st down, Ickey Woods, stop, but got away from Eddie Johnson. Out over the 45-yard line, out to the 48. Eddie Johnson had him for a short gain, couldn't make the tackle, and he turns it into a big gain and a 1st down.
Great play by Woods. He makes the cutback, sees the hole right here. Johnson just not getting his arms around him. Back that size with that much momentum, you got to wrap him up. It's a big mistake for the Browns right there.
25-yard run by the rookie Ickey Woods. And so the Browns defense gets peppered with a big running play. And the Cincinnati drive continues now, and they'll be holding on to the ball a little bit more longer now with 5:14 left. Leading by 7. Back to the run game. Ooh. Good hit there on James Brooks made by Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson comes up vicious on that inside. You can see the momentum, the impact of the hit clear up here from the sidelines.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals. All rights reserved.
Did a good job, John.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, buddy.
Brooks has 82 yards rushing now and 17 carries today. 4.5 left in regulation time. 7-point Cincinnati lead. Ickey Woods. Oh boy, he's carrying tacklers and slips right through. It's hard to get a square hit on him inside Cleveland territory down to the 45-yard line. Clay Matthews finally does get enough of him to bring him down.
He's running straight up. He's so quick getting into the hole there that he almost surprises some of the defenders. And where suddenly he's there, what do? You try to hit him in the midsection, or you just grab on and hang on for a ride?
Let's watch him out of the backfield. 31, the rookie Ickey Woods.
You're just not going to bring that fella down, tackling him at the shoulder, but I'm not sure the defender had much choice in that instance.
Clay Matthews had him early and then went along for the ride as Woods carried him for a couple of extra yards. 3rd down and 4. Big play for the Browns defense. Trying to get to the outside Woods. But Brian Washington, the rookie, is there again with another big play for Cleveland. 48, Brian Washington.
Cleveland said they were going to blitz him. They were going to use him a lot at line of scrimmage to force the play. What better time than now? You know the Bengals are going to come out and run that ball inside, outside. Brian's right up there. Woods again looking to bounce outside.
Cleveland.
And here comes Brian. And he wraps him up.
40-second timeout. 40 seconds.
Cleveland has used a timeout. They'll use a 40-second timeout. 3:25 remaining in regulation time. Brian Washington has played very well in that safety spot for Cleveland. He won the job in training camp. 10th round draft choice out of Nebraska. You had to look long and deep to find him many years on his years at Nebraska on that long and lengthy depth chart that they have out there in Cornhusker country. But Washington came into camp, just kept moving up the depth chart of the Browns, and suddenly was awarded the job.
Brian said that he didn't really care for the collegiate environment much, but when he got to the pros, it was a whole different ball game, particularly under Marty Schottenheimer. Does his job, gets along well, no politics involved, gets a shot.
Let's also give a plug on that last play to Clay Matthews. If you notice, he really forced Ickey Woods way to the outside as Matthews cut off the inside corner, and that forced the play wide, allowing Washington to come up. McNeil waiting for the Fulcher punt, and Fulcher would love to bang it out in the corner. Oh, what a punt! Cleveland will start a very important drive just inside their 5-yard line.
Sam Weiss called it yesterday. Said that Scott Fulcher doesn't really get to have the long average because they have great field position so often, particularly this season. He's had to, as you see the ball being downed right there at about the 4-yard line. This season, because of their great field position, his average has been very low. It would have been higher had they had the negative position.
All right, he's yelling to the sideline. 43 yards on the punt, and they have hemmed Cleveland in. So deep in the shadow, Mike Pagel brings the offense out, and he'll battle this roaring crowd and a tough Bengal defense today. And that man in your screen, David Fulcher, too. With 3:12 to go, they're down by 7. And again, he's looking for Slaughter, and it is overthrown and incomplete. They have shown that play a number of times today and have yet to hook up on it.
Well, he must have been a little antsy in the pocket because he had Ozzie Newsome right over the middle, standing open. I don't know if he couldn't see him or if he just couldn't come back, didn't have the time.
So they are down and down now, and it is 2nd down. You can hear the crowd. Pagel's having a career day today against Cincinnati. He'd love to polish it off with a come-from-behind victory. So would he love to see Pagel do it, too. Which pass play will work on that chart? 2nd down. Incomplete. Both Brennan and Newsome were there. But the ball was delivered maybe a little bit early.
Pagel feeling the heat. I think he is feeling the heat coming from the left side. Can't see who it is, but they see him go down. Might have been Crumry from the middle.
Browns offense waits for Pagel to bring that next play over to them, and it comes in with Reggie Langhorne delivering the message. 3rd down, 10, 3:03 left. They have 2 timeouts left.
pressure, but ball was very low.
So it's 4th down, and they are going to punt it, Larry, with 2:58 left.
Just getting a little antsy in the pocket, trying to get rid of it. I think that end zone situation made him a little nervous.
3 passes on that series, 3 incompletions. 1 to Slaughter, 1 to Brennan, and that one to Herman Fontenot. Max Runniger is right on the end line. So his first day back in the NFL has been a busy one, and now a big punt here. Rides it out of there. Fair catch. Eddie Brown at the Cleveland 40-yard line.
You never crossed Schottenheimer's mind at all to put Strock in one of those 2 last drives.
Don Strock, of course, the longtime veteran with the Miami Dolphins, just now really learning the Cleveland offense. He was brought in after Gary Danielson went down, the second Cleveland quarterback to go down. The Bengals sideline now, waiting to see what's going to happen here, is number 12 in the background there, Don Strock. Pagel off to his right. Not able to move the team on that big series. Set up so deep in their own territory on a fine punt by Scott Fulcher of the Bengals. Now a 35-yard punt by Runniger out of his own end zone, and a fair catch called for by Eddie Brown sets the Bengals up on 1st down. And Wilson gets drilled by the Browns defense, and he got hit so hard that he went back in running formation.
Well, there was a mass of bodies there, and he was literally tiptoeing around on top of them. That's a bad place to get caught in.
Cleveland has used a timeout. Now they have 1 left. 40-second timeout called by the Browns. Boomer goes over to the sideline to talk. Marty calling out directions, and we'll tell you what's coming up on NBC Sports. The games of the 24th Olympiad will continue. Here's the lineup tonight. Carl Lewis in the 200 meters. Greg Louganis goes for another gold in the 10-meter platform diving. He's already won 1 gold medal off the springboard. Men's basketball, the USA against Puerto Rico. The 800-meter run, men and women, both going tonight in Seoul, right here on NBC. Coming up right after this football game, the Browns and Bengals. So you have a full afternoon and evening of Olympic coverage.
Pressure's on the Browns right here. Defense has to get the ball back if they're going to be in this game, or get a big turnover. Of course, I don't think there's very much likelihood of the Bengals putting that ball up for grabs at all. We're going to see it on the ground. And much of what we've witnessed for the last quarter and a half.
2:45 remaining on the clock. 2nd and 10. Oh, they're going to put it up. And they've got Jim Riggs for the first time today. The tight end makes the catch at the 25-yard line. That's the first pass that Riggs has caught, as he makes the grab inside the 30-yard line down to the 25, and a first down for the Bengals.
Gutsy call.
He's been in motion all day, but now he makes the catch.
That's exactly right. They've kind of set that play up over the course of the game. Bring him in motion, sending him out to that flat quite a few times and never paying any attention to him. This time they chose to dump it off to him. It's a crucial play.
Here's the replay of it as Esiason will roll out right at you, and he'll find 87 when he's wide open. Incidentally, Larry, that's the first pass that Boomer has completed in the second half.
Gives you an idea of what kind of ball control they've been exercising with those running backs and firing out of that offensive line.
By using that last timeout, the Browns are done now. With no timeouts, the Bengals, of course, not thinking of stopping the clock. They have all of theirs left and would love to end the game that way. 2:28 remaining. 24-17, Cincinnati in the lead. They have led all the way right from the opening gun of the game, as Cleveland coughed it up on a fumble by Kevin Mack. Bengals took it in, pick up by Lewis Phillips. He took it in for a 26-yard touchdown. Cleveland has inched back into the game, but the Bengals have always been the front runners here this afternoon. From the Cleveland 24-yard line, and of course, Riggs again in motion after he made that big catch. 1st and 10. Wilson. The Browns trying to reach for the ball at the 20-yard line as they go sticking helmets right into the midsection of Wilson. Bob Golick is there for the tackle.
I know you have to deal with the reality that Kosar is out and can't come into this game, but it's hard to watch this and not wonder just how much different this game would have been with a healthy Bernie Kosar.
Coming up to the 2-minute warning. There's Bernie on the sideline. A spectator today over the Browns.
AT&T, the right choice.
Walter Payton retired as pro football's all-time leading rusher, but who was the only player to gain over 8,000 yards in the first 5 years of his career? Was it Earl Campbell, Eric Dickerson of the Colts, or the great Jim Brown? Which would you choose?
AT&T has just made Watts a whole new ballgame for any size business. Pick from a lineup of plans that give you call detail, distance-sensitive pricing, and major league discounts, even on international and AT&T card calls. If you thought AT&T Watts had just one pitch, now it's a whole new ballgame.
Eric Dickerson's current pace would make him the NFL's leading rusher in his 12th season. If you said Eric Dickerson, you made the right choice.
Back at Riverfront Stadium, 24-17 Cincinnati, leading by 7 over the Browns, ready to go 4-0, and they have played well with 2 minutes to go.
Well, a lot can happen in 2 minutes. This is reminiscent of the old cardiac kids. Hopefully they can turn this thing around a little bit and make it a close finish.
Browns need a turnover desperately. They're out of timeouts right now. Been fighting the uphill battle all day long. And Boomer Esiason has his Bengals in the huddle. A 7-point lead deep in Browns territory with 2 minutes left to go in the game. Arnie Schottenheimer hoping that his offense can get the ball back and get back into the game.
Somehow, some way, they have to get possession of that football.
2nd down and 6 from the 20. 2 minutes to go. Wilson's going to get another big first down. Inside the 15-yard line, Clay Matthews is around his ankles to bring him down. Wilson gives you the high fist in the air and the high five from the offensive lineman. Carl Hairston is down on the ground again. It's been a tough afternoon for Hairston. Here's the play by Wilson.
Watch Wilson. He just looks for the cutback. What's happened here, the Bengals offensive line has driven the defensive line of the Browns into a pile, trapping some of the backers so they couldn't react to the cut.
Carl Hairston injured his big left toe early in the game, then went out again, and he's been down on the ground. Let's hope he's okay. He's played a whale of a game. His team is down by 7.
In the past 2 years, 500,000 more Americans switched to Liberty Mutual for auto, home, and life insurance because we made their dollars work harder.
America, babies in liberty, Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Sundown, Luke! I'm calling you! Luke!
Since 1896, some men have preferred to spend their nights in more rewarding pursuits.
Luke!
Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob Light?
Luke!
Back at Riverfront Stadium, 1:40 remaining. Carl Hairston walking off the field. Help from the trainers.
He's had his foot under siege on that artificial surface 3 or 4 plays today, and I think that last one must have finished it off.
I want to thank our spotters in the booth today, Bill Schwarberg and Mike Leonard, with NBC for their 21st year. You pass the eye test every year, huh, to stay in this booth. And the Bengals dancing right now with 1:36 remaining and the clock running. That's the situation. They hold a 7-point lead over the Browns inside the 15-yard line. Into winning formation now, trying to hold on to the ball. A flag is down with 1:25 remaining on 1st and 10, that play was. Browns are out of timeouts. Penalty is on Cleveland. Our statistician in the booth today, Neil Bednetsky. Penalty on the Browns.
Offside. Number 92, defense, first down.
Michael Dean Perry caught offside. Arnie Schottenheimer facing the reality that his team will go to 2-2 and fall 2 games off the pace in the AFC Central Division and a trip to Pittsburgh next week. And the Steelers aren't a happy bunch. Our report card now, passing Esiason Wow, low numbers. Browns, if you would have told the Browns they would have held him to that before the game, I would have thought that they would have won the game. But look at the running and the receiving of Brown. As Boomer has made the few passes he has completed, big plays. Inside the 10, knee down, and the clock running, and the Browns can do nothing about that.
Well, it goes back to that early fumble in the first quarter.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
That's why the statistics are the way they are. The scoring was done on that play by Lewis Phillips. Grabbed the ball, seized the moment, got 6 points on the board early on.
Pagel had a big day. He had to throw so much because they were playing from behind. They were down by 14 points through much of the game. Threw 1 touchdown. Kevin Mack, 1 touchdown. And a big fumble. Byner receiving a big second half for him, 8 for 64.
I think Bernie Kosar is trying to cheer Pagel up a little bit. He's chuckling there, talking with him. I think the only time that Mike really had a problem was in that end zone when he got a little antsy there and threw the ball in the ground.
So now the Cincinnati Bengals can throw their arms in the air and say to their fans, we are for real.
Sam White gets to live what he predicted. 3-0 might not be 3-0, but 4-0 might be a little more than 4-0.
Boomer Esiason didn't need all the touchdown passes today. Their defense played well, got them points early. Esiason and their running game got going. A pretty complete victory over the Browns as Esiason and Bob Golick talk it over. 5 seconds left, clock running down, that's it. The Bengals are 4-0 as they beat the Cleveland Browns and take a 2-game lead over the Browns in the Central Division. The final score of 24-17 to the delight of a sellout crowd here at Riverfront Stadium. Boomer Esiason heading off the field right now. 8 for 23, gets a game ball. Now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is James Brooks from the Cincinnati Bengals. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. Mr. All-Purpose, James Brooks. To the tunnel and to the top in the AFC Central Division. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals, beat the Cleveland Browns 24-17 here at home.
Tell me my headgear's forward.